Brother,
kuna kitu nimekuwa nikitaka kukuambia for a while.
Tutasimama tisti kwa ajili ya dunia yetu, familia zetu
na marafiki wetu, sio?
Look, Jenny, you're really missing a point here.
What point?
The point is, they all said, whoever is my girlfriend is so lucky. And you're so...
Do you have a good rest last night? You left the office very late, right?
Not late. Hey, catch the elevator. Let's go, hurry.
Hey, wait a minute, would you?
remember you once told me you just wanted her to be happy? Is that still what you want now? We broke up.
But you liked him so much before. Why do you want to break up? Did he do something wrong or hurt you?
No reason.
And the days when we were in primary school, when we used to be told, asiyefunzwa na mamaye ufunzwa na ulimwengu, na ulimwengu mwenyewe mafundishowe machungu.
I tell you, you've just taken me back to mgeni ukumpokea kumbe.
There's a lot of just this shairi. Yes. You are always so dire. You are always just warning about dire consequences. Asiyefunzwa, like you are saying, na mamake atafunzwa na maandamano and other things.
Good morning, hoping you're well from wherever you are joining us from. This is Good Morning Kenya. My name is Marie Yambo. Now, the Speaker of the National Assembly has referred back to President William Ruto all the 50 names of the nominees to the Chief Administrative Secretary position, noting that the August House has no constitutional authority to vet the CAS nominees. The Speaker's memorandum to the President reads as follows. The obligation to respect, uphold, and defend the Constitution enjoins the House to refrain from assuming and discharging a role that it has not been expressly assigned by the Constitution or written law. What does that mean? It means that the CASs have now been appointed directly by the President and are way to take the oath of office. That and more coming up in the news during the day. We'll be following up that story for you. Good morning. My name is Marie Yambo and I'm with Stephanie in the studio. Stephanie, good morning.
Good morning, Marie. It's nice to be back visiting, of course, but it's really nice.
Yeah, to have you back.
Thank you. Good morning to you. Thank you for joining Good Morning Kenya. My name is Stephanie Ayeta, and I'm glad to be here, especially on a Thursday, it being about entertainment, and I'm here for all the good vibes that it brings. So we're going to be having some entertainment interviews from musicians, and even on matters yoga. Do you know about it, or do you want to know about it? We'll be getting into interesting conversations on this matter. So you are rightly tuned in. Good morning once again. Marie.
Yes, we take a short break and back with the news. start off with the news where President William Ruto says the government will deal with individuals he says are bent on impeding the nation's economic progress. While presiding over the listing of the lapse rate at the Nairobi Securities Exchange, Ruto reiterated that no unwarranted demonstrations will be allowed in the country and that the government will take robust measures against acts of lawlessness.
Days after opposition held demonstrations in different parts of the country, President William Ruto has vowed to deal decisively with individuals he said want to put brakes on the nation's economic progress.
Through the rule of law, the government will take robust measures to honor and respect the rights of all and demonstrate that no one is above the law by decisively combating impunity, lawlessness, and disorder.
The president said there's no reason for anyone to try and stand on the way of a free enterprises for personal selfish interests, and economic saboteurs will be met with the force of the law and be made fully accountable to vindicate Kenya's commitment as a free economy.
We have a duty to ensure that every worker and every hustler from Mamamboga MSME to the global multinational corporation operating in Kenya enjoy a conducive environment to pursue their goals unhindered.
The head of state assured business owners and investors that the country is secure and conducive for trading.
I am looking forward to days in the very near future when we will be reporting every Monday and every Thursday to be the days that were traded highest in the Nairobi Stock Exchange.
Well, the recent demonstrations by Azimio La Umoja One Kenya for the bicameral parliament on Wednesday adjourned their scheduled House business to discuss the fate of the now bi-weekly anti-government protests. In a heated debate, members of parliament allied to the ruling party called on the opposition to call off the demonstrations, citing it is destructive to the economy. But Azimio allied legislators maintained it was within their constitutional right to picket peacefully. They vowed to carry on with the demonstrations until the government heeds to their demands, including lowering the cost of living, opening of the server, and suspending the reconstitution of the Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission.
We have decided that there will be individual responsibility on police officers. Not every police officer on that day misbehaved. And we have said kudos to all the police officers who observed Article 37. But there are few elements who still don't understand the breadth of this particular right, Madam Speaker.
These people are economic saboteurs. Yeah. Over 2 billion was lost, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, my colleagues in Kenya Kwanza as lawyers, we are collecting and doing quantum and quantifying the losses that was done by demonstrators of Azimio and One Kenya Alliance. Madam Speaker, on Monday we are moving to court.
The behavior, Mr. Speaker, by the leaders of the demonstrations and the demonstrators themselves is nothing other than an act of anarchy.
The citizen of Kenya does not have arms. Mr. Speaker, those who maintain peace and order are the police. Mr. Speaker, I also want to say that those who are killed, as we have heard from the boy who was killed in Maseno, was killed by the police. And I also want to add that when the business community restrained from doing their business, they restrained from doing their business because of fear-mongering.
There is limit to every right, in as much as they are clear in Clause Article 19 and 37. That doesn't give anybody the immunity to destroy people's property, to go for the lives and limbs of Kenyans.
Responsible opposition requires matters be dealt with in institutions like this one. I would therefore like to appeal to my party Azimio to rethink these demonstrations for the sake of Kenya and Kenyans at this critical time when we need to do a lot.
Well, the Catholic Church is now urging the opposition to explore other avenues of agitating for their demands instead of resorting to violent demonstrations. The church is urging Kenyans to boycott such protests, saying the actions will not resolve the problem cited. The church is instead advocating for a national conversation on the issues ailing the country, urging the political class to feel for the country and follow the path of peace and dialogue for prosperity.
The Catholic Church says the fact that demonstrations are illegal as per the country's constitution, it should not be made a vehicle to paralyze the country or as a means to attempt to overthrow a legitimate government.
The fact that it is legal to demonstrate should not make it a vehicle to paralyze the country, nor degenerate to forceful takeover of a legitimate government.
It says Kenya must submit to the rule of law and not individual perspectives, and that the country should not entertain any attempt that seeks to legitimize the use of violence to force a government takeover.
We should not entertain any goal that seeks to use violence or force to take leadership.
It says it is unfortunate that such demonstrations have turned into looting and destruction of property, and that the only way to avoid anarchy is to be guided by the constitution and the laws of the land.
Demonstrations cannot annul or take over the constitution. We must respect the rule of law. The only way to avoid chaos and anarchy is always to follow the constitution and the laws of the land.
In Kiambu, who have urged Raila Odinga to respect his position as a statesman and as an elder and call off the mass protests they claim are hurting the innocent Kenyans.
We therefore appealing to the former Prime Minister, the Honorable Omolo Odinga, who is a statesman and an elder, to be positive to all Kenyans. And be sympathetic to the rest of Kenyans who are suffering from these hard economic times.
While the Kenya Union of Domestic and Hospitality Workers Union is urging for talks between the opposition and the government for a solution, terming mass actions counterproductive.
His Excellency, we are only requesting and asking you. It is only you and our former Prime Minister who can be able to sit down and be able to solve this issue like yesterday.
Now, members of Parliament allied to Azimio One Kenya Coalition Party have opposed the privatization bill that seeks to allow privatization of state parastatals without the approval of Parliament. Led by leaders of minorities from both houses, the lawmakers accused the Kenya Kwanza government of plotting to sell government assets under the guise of reviving them. The privatization bill was approved on Tuesday by the cabinet, and it is set to be considered by Parliament.
If adopted by Parliament as proposed by the Cabinet, the privatization bill will grant the national executive powers to privatize state-owned corporations without involvement of Parliament. MPs from the minority side in both houses raising alarm against the proposed law, arguing it will give Treasury and cartels unchecked powers to sell government assets, some of which were donated by communities.
We will not be party to any plans to sell the ports of Mombasa, Lamu, and affiliate Kenya Ports Authority installations in different parts of the country, including Kisumu, Busia, Siaya, Homa Bay, and Migori, among others. That the proposed sale of assets is not meant to revive the institutions. It is meant to help people in Kenya Kwanza who have formed companies in Asia, Middle East, and Eastern Europe. Those are the people who want to take over our critical assets, make money, and then sell them further to foreign interests.
Anytime in an era such as ours, where our Constitution and Article 10 requires that whenever any public policy shift decision is made, there must be public participation. Any process where you see people saying they want to remove parliamentary oversight, that is a questionable process. And we know some of our brothers in Western Kenya have already sold our people out. Deposits have been paid to some members of Parliament from Bungoma.
The Azimio leaders accused the government of planning to sell Mombasa and Lamu ports, the Postal Corporation of Kenya, and various sugar companies, ostensibly to revive them.
I want to beseech leaders to be able to slow down on this appetite for wealth. And whatever we do, we preserve it for future generation. We'll be judged really harshly by future generation. If they come, our own children and those even who are still in our meat, if they come and they find that we sold everything.
We as leaders from that region, we are not going to allow any transaction on such parastatal until due process is followed and the community is involved fully.
Wakulima ama county government iweze kupewa nafasi ya kwanza kuweza kuendesha hiyo kampuni, wakulima wenyewe. Lakini si ati serikali iweze kuuza tu kwa mtu any highest bidder, haiwezekani.
Should the bill be passed, Treasury Cabinet Secretary Professor Joguna Ndongo will be responsible for formulation and development of the government privatization program, subject to cabinet approval. Privatization of parastatals has emerged as a priority in President William Ruto's fiscal consolidation plan, with proceeds from the sales to be deposited into the consolidated fund for budgetary spending.
Gishu Kiwashira reporting there. And now the Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has called on principal secretaries to introduce synergy in dispensation of their respective responsibilities to actualize President William Ruto's bottom-up economic transformation agenda. Mudavadi, who spoke during the inaugural Principal Secretaries Committee meeting, directed the accounting officers to further identify areas considered as functional duplication or inconsistency as they seek to actualize the pre-election pledges of the Kenya Kwanza administration.
The Prime Cabinet Secretary was holding the inaugural meeting Wednesday, bringing together government accounting officers, charging on them to eliminate what he called the silo mentality and work together to deliver on President William Ruto's promises to the electorate.
The committee will provide supervisory and technical inputs in the MDAs in relation to capacity building, institutionalization of professionalism and standards, stakeholder inclusion, and developing a peer review mechanism to share best practices.
To do that, the Prime CS called on the PSS to begin with identifying possible functional overlaps, duplication, and inconsistency.
The main characteristics of an effective public service is in its ability to convert political statements and public pronouncements and demands into public policy and legislation.
You need, as accounting officers, you need, as authorized officers, to be responsible, to act responsibly, to be objective, and to align each and every decision in those two responsibilities.
Mudavadi further announced the return of a signing of performance contracts in both national and county governments, with President William Ruto expected to preside over the exercise on the 22nd of April.
One of the most effective instruments that will guarantee predictable services to our people is the Service Charter, which is already contained in the performance contracts. Unfortunately, the Service Charter and the culture of performance contracting has been relegated to the periphery in public service.
They want to hear government through its cabinet secretaries and the principal secretaries responding in a manner that addresses the challenge or the issue that we have been raised.
The PSS will also begin the review of chronic non-performing contractors said to be abandoning government projects midway, leading to multi-billion losses with the aim of blacklisting them. Mudavadi reminding the PSS that the image and reputation of government is dented by unethical practices and that ministries, departments and government agencies should commit to zero tolerance to corruption. He challenged the officers to list areas they feel are prone to corruption, saying special attention should be paid to huge contracts and evaluation committees to enable the country get value for money.
John Jacob Curia reporting. Now, let's go to the counties where farmers in Kisii and Nyamira counties are set to benefit from subsidized fertilizer through the government fertilizer subsidy program. This move aims to cushion farmers against the high cost of fertilizer, increase agricultural production, and address food insecurity. Details of these and other stories in our County News Roundup.
Speaking at the National Cereals and Produce Board offices in Kisii Town, State House spokesperson Hussein Mohammed said over 1 million bags will be bought by farmers at subsidized rates.
That is why the President took the bold steps to address this issue by providing subsidies to farmers. Of course, that is subsidizing production, making fertilizers more accessible and affordable, and reducing the price from 7,500 shillings to 3,500.
This comes as President William Ruto is expected to begin a 3-day working tour of Nyamira and Kisii counties. In Turkana County, 7 traders from neighboring Uganda are calling for protection from the Kenyan government against harassment by authorities.
Ukifika pale wanataka pesa. Ukifika hapa wanataka pesa. Sasa tuachilie chakula yetu Uganda tukule wenyewe ama tufanye namna gani?
Sasa hapa kumeona biashara ya Kenya imekuwa ngumu. Kumebadilisha tufanye na biashara kama kumebadilisha kwa magari za kwao pia imekuwa tu shida.
Elsewhere, Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers, KUPPET, wants the Ministry of Education to hasten the recruitment of more teachers to address shortage of teachers at junior secondary level.
Remember when these employees were also recruited, there was limited consideration on the subject areas which were demanded. We in the junior secondary school in grade 7, we have got 14 learning areas. These 14 learning areas require some expertise, like for example the sciences and pre-technical courses. They require those people with technical know-how.
In Makwani County, Kibwezi West Member of Parliament Mwengi Mutuse has urged the government to compensate landowners who surrendered their land for the construction of Kibwezi to Kitui Road.
Considering that the value attached to lands and plots compulsorily acquired for construction of Kibwezi to Kitui Road in 2017 and the rolling parking facility in Kibwezi town have since appreciated over time, could the Cabinet Secretary, 1, state whether the government has any plans to review the compensation upwards, given that payment or awarded value has been delayed since 2017? Question number 2, could the Cabinet Secretary explain the reasons as to why the Ministry and the National Lands Commission have delayed payment to affected landowners since the year 2017?
And in Nairobi County, children at the Act of Hope home in Kaibiria area have a reason to smile after a charitable team from the Netherlands built classes and hostels for them.
Na bado nina ugumu kwa upande wa rent kwa sababu mahali hapa tunalipa rent. Kwa hivyo mimi ombi langu ni kama Mungu ataguza wengine na waguzwe wasikie kusimama na mimi. Tunalia sana upande wa rent na pia school fees ya watoto.
Now, the prevailing forex exchange volatility will be addressed next month once a new government-to-government fuel buying scheme comes into force. President William Ruto has put on notice traders holding the US dollar, saying the agreement between Kenya and the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia will eliminate the demand for $500 million every month from the Kenyan market. President Ruto spoke during the launch of the Imara Real Estate Investment Trust at the Nairobi Securities Exchange.
2 weeks ago, Kenya signed a government-to-government deal with the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia for the supply of petroleum products with a 6-month credit period. The deal is expected to start next month, easing the demand for $500 million every month that Kenya uses to purchase petroleum products.
I am giving you free advice that those of you who are holding dollars, you surely might go into losses. You better do what you must do, because this market is going to be different in a couple of weeks.
President William Ruto has said the deal will help ease the supply-side demands that have exerted pressure on the Kenya shilling.
Our fuel companies will now be paying for fuel in Kenya shillings. They do not have to look for dollars every month. And secondly, we, through the central bank, we are having conversations to reinstate the interbank exchange market that has since not worked.
Thursday last week, the local unit weakened to a record low of 129 shillings and 27 cents to the dollar, driven by increased appetite for the greenback from importers and manufacturers. And today, the shillings closed the day at 130 shillings, while in the black market, the local currency is trading at 142 shillings to the greenback, making it a lucrative venture.
With its impressive diversified product offering, I am confident that the NSC can facilitate investors to construct strong portfolios across a broad range of globally attractive investment products.
Speaking during the launch of the LAP Trust Imara I-Rate, President Ruto said the government will continue to reform the country's capital market to make it robust and more attractive to investors. The Imara I-Rate will list 346,000 units valued at 20 shillings each, placing its valuation at 6.9 billion. The president has said the new product provides investors with both capital growth and rental income, which makes it an attractive investment for those looking for steady returns.
Let's look at sports now, where the national soccer team Harambee Stars has stepped up preparations ahead of their friendly match against Iran in Tehran on March the 28th. Meanwhile, the national women's soccer team Harambee Starlets will play an international friendly match against Albania on the 11th of April in Tirana.
The tactician named a provisional squad last week for Iran match, which includes local and foreign-based players, led by captain and Al-Dulail forward Michael Olunga. Foreign-based players have been trickling in camp, including Norwegian-based player Alfred Skriven and defender Daniel Anyembe from Denmark. The team will hold their final training session on March 25th as they prepare to face Iran, which finished third in Group B of the 2022 World Cup held in Qatar. Meanwhile, the national women's soccer team Harambee Starlets will play an international friendly match against Albania on April 11 in Tirana. This is the first international engagement for Starlets in over a year after Football Kenya Federation suspension by the World Football Governing Body FIFA. Albania is ranked 78 places above Kenya in FIFA women's ranking. The team will report to come on March 30th and leaves for Albania on April 8th.
Well, that story brings us to the end of the news this morning. It's just the first segment of Good Morning Kenya. We still have a lot lined up for you. Entertainment Thursday, that means we have some artists for you this morning. But in just a moment, I'll be joined by one of our guests who will be talking about matters security. Are you concerned about your personal security or just around your premises where you work? So this is a show that you do not want to miss. We'll be giving you details of that discussion in just a short moment.
Allah anatuambia ndani ya kitabu chake kitukufu, enyi ambao mlioamini nimewafaradhishieni funga.
Yani enyi mlioamini funga ya Ramadhan imefaradhishwa juu yenu kama ilivyofaradhishwa katika wale ambao waliwatangulia, ili muweze kumcha Mwenyezi Mungu Subhanahu wa Ta'ala.
I will never let go. I will never let you.
Nini huko shule saa hizi? Basi nilifukuzwa na mama mmoja wa huko.
Unaniambia sababu naitisha kuku mara 3 kwa saa nyingine kwa wiki, kwa mwezi. So it is us parents who are feeding you.
No, you're not feeding us. We are helping your kids to know how to cook.
Senior chief. Kuka. Can see.
Kwa shule inaenda wapi?
Hiyo kuku akikuja kwa shuleni, mwalimu anachukua ile kuku mtoto.
inashija, inasomesha mtoto.
Hata kucha tunatengenezanga nazo necklace.
Hayo yote mnachukua.
Kucha za kuku. Na manyoya ya kuku pia tunatengenezanga nayo pilo.
Kuna vilevile hapa ni wewe amechapa mwalimu sababu ya kutuma mtoto wako nyumbani.
Ambia walete ng'ombe mheshimiwa, itakuwa ni mzuri.
Watoto waambiwa walete ng'ombe.
Vitu kwa kuku mheshimiwa.
And the days when we were in primary school, when we used to be told, asiyefunzwa na mamaye ufunzwa na ulimwengu, na ulimwengu mwenyewe mafundishowe machungu.
I tell you, you've just taken me back to mgeni ukumpokea kumbe.
There's a lot of just this shairi. Yes. You are always so dire. You are always just warning about dire consequences. Asiyefunzwa, like you are saying, na mamake atafunzwa na maandamano and other things.
He used to say that was the happiest day of his life. That hiyo siku, he found a friend and a brother.
Kuna kitu nimekuwa nikitaka kukuambia for a while.
Tutasimama tisti kwa ajili ya dunia yetu, familia zetu
na marafiki wetu, sio?
Look, Jenny, you're really missing a point here.
What point?
The point is, they all said, whoever is my girlfriend is so lucky. And you're so...
Do you have a good rest last night? You left the office very late, right?
Not late. Hey, catch the elevator. Let's go, hurry.
Hey, wait a minute, would you?
Remember you once told me you just wanted her to be happy? Is that still what you want now? We broke up.
But you liked him so much before. Why do you want to break up? Did he do something wrong or hurt you?
No reason.
It's
Thank you once again for staying with us. This is Good Morning Kenya, and just as I mentioned earlier, we will be talking matters security. Security has become a very pertinent issue, whether at personal level or whether you're running a business. You want to be sure that your property and may I say your life is secure. And so we are in studio with a guest who will be talking to us about matters security. He is from the SGA Securities, and he'll be explaining to us how the company has been helping Kenyans at an individual level and even at corporate level on how they can be able to maintain their security. So thank you so much, Julius Dulahaye. I hope I did get the, the name quite right. So thank you so much for braving the rains and being here very early in the morning to join us for this particular discussion. Probably before I even delve into so much in matter security, maybe you could paint a picture for us, the demand for security in Kenya so far. Your organization has been, or your company has been in operation in Kenya for quite a while. Yeah. So how are you seeing the demand for security in Kenya?
It's a broad subject.
Yes.
Because SGA Security, as you said, is more than 50 years already in Kenya, in the business, and actually active in the region. So also in Uganda, Tanzania, and Kenya. So quite broadly, indeed, for businesses and private people. And throughout those years, we saw quite a big shift in security. So security 50 years ago was more about theft. And where would people steal? Most likely was at at big construction sites or logistics. But over time, of course, security has become a completely different thing. And in those days, it was more about muscles,
yes.
And very, very enforcement, more reactive than proactive. And I think that is a big shift that we saw. So nowadays we try to prevent a lot of issues. We have technology, innovation. That's a very important tool right now. So use of technology, systems, devices. We'll get back to that most likely.
Yes, definitely. We'll be getting back to how security has evolved over the years. And just like you said, before it was just a matter of thefts, preventing thieves from coming into your house or your premises and all that. But it has evolved over time because of the dynamics of security in itself, terrorism being one of them, and all that. But before I even delve into the issue of the regulatory authority, which actually was operationalized and now demands that security companies be registered, to operate in Kenya. Maybe just give us a brief history of SGA so that people can understand SGA Securities. What is it all about?
Yeah, well, as I mentioned, it started 54 years ago now. It was actually established by a Dutchman who lived all his life in Kenya, and he started indeed in construction industry, and then because of the demand at that point in time for smaller thefts, actually he engaged with a small security firm, but gradually he felt it should be done better, and he took over that security company and enhanced it, became at the end his core business, and then he established that later on also throughout the region, as I mentioned, in Tanzania and Uganda. And SGA employs more than 18,000 people in this region. The head office is in Nairobi, Kenya, the group head office. And we provide today security solutions throughout. We see security as an enabler for business.
Yes.
So basically it's not only about man guarding but also cash in transit, response, alarms, tracking, tracing, technical solutions, IT solutions, very dedicated VIP escorts, advisory. That's very important. I think advisory becomes quite a key element because and training, because if you want to prevent the crime or if you want to protect yourself against something, then it's good to be advised. We see a lot of people, if they would use their common sense, they would come up with a lot of solutions themselves, but they just ran into something. Think about the demonstrations we had recently. It calls for a lot of questions. What should I do? How to deal with this? And of course, if you the first thing, you should follow the media. Okay. What's going on? Okay. Where should I go?
So we'll be coming to the details of the various, can I say, types of security services that SGA offers and all that. But before we delve into that, there is the Private Security Regulatory Authority, which actually came into operation and now demands that security companies in Kenya have to be registered. Yep. It's actually illegal to operate in Kenya now without being registered, and even engaging a security firm that is not registered. How has that changed the operation of security in Kenya? Because initially we had almost 7,000 security guards and over 2,500 companies which were registered, but the authority only found 183 being able to operate in Kenya in terms of complying to the regulations. Yeah. How has that changed the landscape?
Yeah, I think a lot, and it's still in the process of changing. I think it's, first of all, it's a good thing, because if you introduce the system of licensing, you create clear rules. And I think when it comes to security, it's very important, discipline, but also how to operate, etc. So for the industry in a broad sense, I think it's a good thing. You mentioned some numbers, but informally, before the registration started, people were talking about more than 4,000 security companies, and between 500,000 and 1 million people employed in the security sector. So that's quite a lot. And if that's not regulated, and many of them actually they would not follow the rules. You're talking about issues about minimum wage, taxes, quite a lot of diversity. And for instance, if you don't pay a guard the minimum wage, is he going to protect you? So those rules have been established. I believe now there's a bit more than 500 companies that are registered and licensed. That is not a guarantee that you have the top and supreme services. We at SGA we look at the security from a very high-end standard qualities. We have ISO 18788. That doesn't mean maybe too much for the big audience, but that's the highest standard of security provision in the world. And it's not only about the technicalities and the quality of service, but it's also about human rights. It's also about code of conduct. It's also about international governance. How do you deal with each other, taking care of communities? So it's not only the client that you're looking at, but you look at in a broader perspective. So those standards we apply. So in all honesty, although the PSRA process was a lengthy process, you had to comply, a lot of paperwork, a lot of things to be done. But we feel we are much more than just licensed according to the standards. And yes, it will evolve over time. You have to start somewhere, but I think the way it's done, I think it's good. It creates clarity. And,
especially the issue of pay had been a very big issue for those working in the security sector. But definitely without a regulatory authority, then I can decide to have a guard outside my gate or around my premise and pay them anything. But with this particular regulatory authority, so that means the minimum wage, I think, is about what? Is it about 25? For a security guard or something of that sort?
Yeah, it depends. So the problem with minimum wage today, and I'm calling quite some parties together, like Ministry of Labor, PSRA, unions, to sit together and to actually start paying attention to it. Because today there is such a variety and such a difference of opinion even about what the actual minimum wage is. You have to realize in security there's different levels. There are 6 minimum wages, day and night. That is already one thing. There is another aspect is municipality, cities or upcountry. So that creates already another level of interpretation. And then there is things like overtime, allowances. There is, to be honest, for many people, it's too complicated. And I think it's very important to put it all together and create a very clear and unique system so that everybody knows exactly what it is. So now if you ask people, what is the minimum wage you pay? I can't give the exact answer unless I know exactly which place, which assignment, is it day, is it night. It's too complicated. And I think it's not good for the clients because they get confused. It's not good for the industry because one claims I'm compliant, but in fact they are not. And others make it. We try to make it always very transparent. Say this is the situation, and this is what the costs are, and at the end the margins on it is very slim.
So as SGA, I'm sure you've already complied to these regulations. And the other issues that actually were coming up was not just the issue of pay, but even the issue of off days, the time to rest and all that. So I'm very sure that SGA has actually complied to all that.
Yeah, no, so exactly, the framework is much bigger than the pay itself. Yeah. So you have your off days, you have overtime. It is, of course, an industry that is there for a long time, and it's typically a 12-hour shift. You have 12 hours during the day and 12 hours during the night. And you could question, is that the right model? Should it not be 3 shifts? Today, unfortunately, the market can't afford it. Yeah. So if that's a given, then we should be very clear how to tackle these things. You're absolutely right. People go, in our case, usually depends a bit on the assignment, either 5 days off and then 1 or 2 days or on, and then 1 or 2 days off, and it depends a bit. But for sure, we follow the rules as they are. Okay.
And just like you mentioned at the beginning of our discussion, and that is security has evolved. We no longer have the muscle man at the front of the gate, or mainly at the clubs and all that. Yeah. And it's not just about having somebody, at your premises, ensuring that nobody comes in and all that. It's now taken a new, life of its own, in the sense of it's technologically driven. Yeah. So maybe you could touch on the kind of technology that now is being employed in as far as security is concerned.
Yeah, and you have a very big variety of technology today. It depends on what the item of, exactly the need, what the item of security is. In residential, we see huge developments. In the past, in residential, people look at electric fences, access controls, cameras, and they were quite analog, and most of the systems even today are quite outdated. People even don't know how it works, so de facto they are not switching it on quite often, or there's many failures. But now technology, we all know this device,
the phone,
the phone,
yes,
and this is your remote control. So if you put the right system in place, which is also IT enhanced, it means basically you're talking about Internet of Things. I can switch the system on and off, even when I'm here or when I'm abroad at my house. I can watch the cameras, so if the nanny is taking care of the children, you can say, let's have a look, or let's have a chat. So that is one very big improvement, but also technically, because our technicians can also monitor the system, not from a content-wise, but from a technical perspective. That means if a battery of a device is running out, it creates an alert, and they will come and see you, and actually before the battery is out and before your system is down. So that is what we say, that is technology. So you get also even artificial intelligence into it. The system is going to warn you. Okay. So you don't have to wait till it's too late. Quite often people, if they press a button and it doesn't work, there's panic. And that's what we try to avoid always with security. You don't want people to panic.
So essentially what you're saying, security is no longer, can I say, static, where it just used to be, I have a watch, we call them watchmen at the gate. It's now something that as an individual, I can carry with me wherever I am. I'm able to monitor back at home or back in my office, or even a farm, probably. You have farm hands and all that. So essentially what you're saying is security is no longer just a matter of employing someone to stand there and wait for, but you can actually monitor it using your phone. Yeah. So I don't know, at an individual level, because security, like they say, starts with you. Before it goes to, can I say, the national level and all that. What are some of those services that me as an individual, you'd actually encourage me to employ?
Yeah, I think first of all to be alert and use common sense. I said it earlier, is follow the news, but also quite often we just wait for something to happen. But if you are proactive and you understand what potential risks are as an individual, if you have your risks at home, do you leave your doors open? Do you lock everything? Very basic things. But also, if I go to work, if I go to the street, if I go to a shop, which route do I take? What do I see? And quite often, if you feel something doesn't fit, quite often our instinct is helping us already a lot. And if that's the case, then follow that. We mentioned, for instance, demonstrations. People say, what can I do? First of all, try to find out where the demonstrations are. What is it all about? Is there an expectation of violence? Is it peaceful? But also, if it is exactly on my way to the office in the morning, and I know that's where the demonstrations are, then maybe it's better to take another route. Try to avoid big crowds. For instance, don't go in there. If it happens to you, try obviously to get out as soon as possible.
But Kenyans, what we do, you hear an explosion somewhere, that's where you run to actually. But you're saying that is not the way you're supposed to act.
No.
You're supposed to at least stay away from it. You can evaluate the situation from afar. Lest you become collateral for whatever is happening. Now, the security sector, my apologies to say this, had been associated, and I put it, with people who have not kind of performed very well in education, and so you just become a security guard or something like that. But that has actually changed over time, and with the technology, is it something that you can encourage young people to look into? Absolutely, and you're absolutely right. The perception has changed a lot, but also the reality. A security guy is not just a person at the gate. You were still saying a man. No, it can also be a woman. And actually we encourage women to apply as well. But you're right, there is a lot of training, and in the past it was a lot of physical training. People needed to be fit. You should enhance that, how to react, whether there's violence. But nowadays, it's much more. It's also about hospitality, being friendly. Exactly. If you are a guard at the kindergarten, you can't be putting a military outfit and act with a gun or whatever. That is not the way to handle it. So. Yes, it has changed a lot. Technology, as you said. If I don't know how this works, if I can't communicate, if I don't know how all these devices, scanners, the access controls, how it works, you can't apply. So it becomes more and more technology driven, and therefore it requires more education from the people, and therefore. I think it becomes also more exciting. You're so
not
the
only
young
on
people
your own.
can venture into the arena or the area of security, for that matter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, you did mention security has always been synonymous with the male, counterparts. But how has SGA then enabled women to be part and parcel of the security industry?
Yeah, so we invite you. This absolutely. In the past, there was the idea, well, women can't do this job. I would almost say, no, I'm going to say, it's on the contrary. I think there is many aspects within security women can do much better than men, actually. And so we are encouraging women. I mentioned before the ISO standards and the ICOCA standards. One part of that is also to follow the United Nations SDGs, the development goals, to engage women in the industry, to be, not gender specific. We just try to engage with everybody because that's the community as well. And for instance, very simple, if you are in a public building or in an office or a shopping mall, and we need to search, a man cannot search a woman. That is not the way to do it. Exactly. So That's one specific thing, but most of the tasks, in particular related to technology, women can do a perfect or even better job. So we definitely encourage them, come and report, go to our website,
yes,
and apply for the job.
Okay.
And you have a good or even better chance than maybe a male colleague.
Okay. That's a very good, venture right there. We definitely are seeing a lot of ladies venture into this part of security work. And so we want to take a short break, but we'll be back. We still have a lot to talk about with Julius Delahaye. He is the CEO SGA Securities. And so we'll be back in just a short while to continue with this discussion.
He used to say that that was the happiest day of his life. That hiyo siku, he found a friend and a brother.
Kuna kitu nimekuwa nikitaka kukuambia for a while.
Tutasimama tisti kwa ajili ya dunia yetu, familia zetu
na marafiki wetu, sio?
Good morning, beautiful.
Na wewe nani kwanza?
The name's Lawrence.
I am here to see your husband, Mr. Pitt.
There's not in either. Why don't you call him?
Then why are you still holding the gate?
No, na siku hizo unacheza na boss wako games zingine funny.
Just to remind you, if you came here to snatch someone's husband, Mama Felix will tear you down like a piece of pepper.
We need to fire that maid.
You're not even scared I'm going to tell Christine you're having an affair with the husband?
Don't joke with me, Wewe.
I'm about to lose my family. She has evidence.
Thank you so much for staying with us. If you're just joining us, we've been talking about matters security. Are you concerned about your personal security, security at your premises of work, or your business for that matter? Well, this program is for you. We are in studio with the CEO SGA Securities, that is Julius Delahaye, who has been explaining to us some of the services that the SGA Securities offers, how we need to be alert about our own personal security, and how the security sector in itself has been operating in terms of the operationalization of the regulatory authority. Now, Julius, we were just speaking behind the scenes, and I have dogs. Yeah, I have 2 German Shepherds, but I'm trying to consider whether is it better for me to have a CCTV rather than have the dogs at home, because I can't travel, I can't do anything without ensuring that they're taken care of. So, which one is better?
Well, I would obviously say I should take a combination. Because what we mentioned prevention. Huh? Basically, what you try to do is create alerts as far away from the house itself already, that's where dogs can help a lot, but also CCTV, other devices that create alerts. But I would say really the perfect solution is a combination between dogs and systems. We are actually, I mentioned that the use of dogs, quite a lot of people only take a dog at night, and we want to get a bit away from that old tradition. Why? Because dogs need to be moved from our dog kennel to sometimes the part of town in vehicles. There's traffic, there's jams, so it takes long, and it's not convenient. It's not the way you want. So we try to stimulate our clients to take a dog day and night. First of all, with a handler, you only change the handler. The dog stays on site. We feed the dogs, etc. But the good thing also, you can go on holiday because there is always an handler around who is taking care of the dogs, even if you're not around. And another change, I think, here is also a way of doing things differently. Innovation, basically, is to allow and train the dogs to also be in your house. So if you have a family, it's very nice to have a family dog, isn't it?
Yeah.
A dog that can walk in, can walk out, and understands you are the family and he or she is part of the family. And if a dog is part of your family and is allowed to be in the house, then it will be much more difficult for any intruder to come there, because the dog will protect you, because you're part of the family. So that is a very, I think, also interesting aspect of security and a different way to look at it. And it will help. And you can train dogs to do that. I have 4 dogs at my house, but we have also we have chickens, we have kangas, we have tortoise, we have all kinds of other animals. And people say, but the dogs, they will bite them, go after them.
Get along,
That's the first time one of our big dogs, a Rottweiler, saw a chicken, and he felt like, wow, now I'm going at it. Today he doesn't care. He's just
part of the family.
Part of the family. They're all part of, and you can train, and you would be astonished what trainers can do. So we have trainers. Training is very key, actually, in security, also with dog handlers. But in general, rehearse things and change things. So no, I think dogs I could absolutely recommend, but you're absolutely right. If you take a dog, take care of the dog. There's many people that have a dog, leave them outside, even they go on holiday. The dogs are alone. Dogs barking, because they miss the family or miss the environment.
And I think people, I don't know that to say, a lot of people don't really understand the psychology of dogs, because they are just like us, and when they are treated well as part of the family, they're very protective.
Absolutely.
And Dexter says the man's best friend. I can attest to that, because I have them, and for me, I feel like they're part of my family.
Absolutely.
If something happens to one of them, I feel like I really need to act on it. And so I think just encouraging people, like, taking up, dogs into the family and as a way of offering protection for your own family is really a good thing. You work in the region as ASGS Securities. How do you compare Kenya security needs with around the continent?
I think there's a lot of similarities. If I look at Tanzania, Uganda, but there are some different aspects. I think Kenya as a country is further developed, so that also has different aspects of security with it. I think when it comes to technology, Kenya is already more advanced, but also, I think democracy is developing. We see this today. Everybody is, of course, entitled to his own opinion, but it also creates challenges from time to time. And so that is something I recall. Think about the elections. Elections is always an exciting period, but this year, people, took it more serious when it came to security. And I think we saw quite a huge improvement. But that's part of it. In the other countries, most of the challenges when it comes to theft, when it comes to robberies, etc., I think there are some differences. For instance, in Kenya, security companies are not allowed to carry guns, which I still think is a good thing, as long as the government is willing and enabling to protect in that way. So here, for instance, in our cash in transit business, we engage with the police. So we always have policemen on board of the vehicles. And they are obviously armed. And for instance, our response and alarm teams, they also have police on board. So basically to help protect, because if you go in the middle of the night, you respond to an alarm, then if you have no arms at that point in time, it's quite useless actually. So because we engage with the police, it's contractual, so it's an arrangement, and it helps because quite often police don't have the capacity in terms of vehicles to patrol or whatever, and if they are on board of our vehicles, then it serves both ways.
In fact, that's the next question I wanted to ask you, because in terms of security, you know, the national government, we have the police service and all that, but how can private security, you know, complement or work together with the government in terms of offering security? You know, to Kenyans?
Yeah, very good question. And I think a lot of people look at it fragmented, but it's not. It is working together.
Because security guards are normally the first responders when there is a disaster or something.
Yeah, quite often. Yeah. Quite often, in particular in residential, well, actually in most cases, because we are the client is connected to an alarm system. The alarm goes off. Usually at night we are within 3 minutes on the site. But as I said, in the major places, in industrial area, in some of the residential areas in Nairobi, we have police on board, so we bring the police already. Quite often what happens is the security companies first, but then they have to try to get police there, and that could take very long. So that's where we engage in this way. We have frequent meetings with each other. We exchange information. Obviously, because of our spread, we have so many people employed, and they live everywhere. Each big city of Kenya, we are present, and we have our employees are living throughout. So basically, whatever they monitor, what they see, it's vital information for us. We have a company app where we inform clients, so whatever is happening, when it relates to security, traffic, health and safety, that is an engagement. So also with the police, we work together and we exchange what is going to happen. One of the security aspects is still, of course, threats of terrorism. Knock on wood, lately no major things have happened, but there are still small incidents, and police is very active on actually preventing actually terrorists to do something bad. And that is quite effective. People don't see it quite often, but behind the screens there's a lot going on there. And we obviously, if we see something or notify something, then we will use that as well. A lot of people, unfortunately, are even afraid sometimes to report something direct to the police. And that's where we can stand in. You can report to us, and then we report it to the police, so that at least the information is not lost. Because quite often, when something serious happens, people say, yeah, I knew, I saw something strange or weird, but they forgot to tell, or were afraid
to tell because they do not know what the repercussions may be.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, and it's, I really say, better to alert or to speak out 10 times and it was false and it was not needed, than forget this one time that it was very important. So I think, that is a good way of cooperation. It can still be better, So, and we should work on it. But there are all kinds of forums where we talk. Other part is think about cybersecurity.
Yeah.
We talk about physical security.
We'll actually be coming to cybersecurity, especially now that we are living in an era where internet, it's just a touch of a button and you're able to speak to anybody in any part of the world. And more so for young people who probably might not really understand what dangers they might be putting themselves into. But before we get into the issue of cybersecurity, the Kenyan landscape in as far as security is concerned, I'm very sure has changed drastically because of the terrorism. You're seeing more people now being more alert in terms of that. But what are some of the challenges that you see operating in Kenya and even the region?
I think, you mentioned already security. A lot has been done, and I think also the licensing is helping, because also there you create a forum for all the parties that are licensed, and by the PSRA also to educate the people, do training and create alertness, because I think that is very important. Most of these activities are very well planned, and people know exactly what they are doing. And but if you have to plan it, there's all kinds of, you have to look at the scene, and usually if you notice uncommon things, then most likely you're right. There is something unusually ongoing. So I think over time it is changing. I think people are more aware of it, that you can't just carry bags everywhere in and out without a search. People accept that. But still what we see a lot is that people, they're in a hurry, say, no, I don't need to be searched, you know me, and and they rush through, and then we have to be strict, and then people don't like that. So there is a lot of actually sloppiness into the behavior, and that's where I think we need to help each other, because it is serious. And there's profiling. I was the other day in a place where it was supposed to be the most safe and secure place. I won't go into too much details, but then I saw somebody coming in with a paper bag, and I thought, you were not supposed to be here. How do you get in this place with a paper bag? And I don't know, the security guard maybe looking the other way around, or
just assuming. I think sometimes we get into a lull when issues of security come up. Maybe it's an explosion or an attack, terrorism attack. We become alert immediately. But I think after a while, when things get back to normal, we tend to forget. And I think that's what you're trying to sensitize, that we all need to be responsible for our own security when you're walking around. Be alert, look at people around you. Sometimes you're walking but never really getting to know who's sitting or walking around you. So
absolutely, you're absolutely right. And so there's this rehearsal, repeating, training, education, because for sure, if you are in a shopping mall and somebody walks with a bag, puts it on the floor and walks away from it, I think you will be very alert
you should
by now. But that is the very obvious one, but there's many other issues where you feel like, in airports typically people are more alert already, or in certain places people are more alert, but still I think we can do better and help each other, because point out and don't be offended if somebody says, well, maybe
you'd rather be wrong than sorry when something happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Safe and sorry.
Exactly. You'd rather be safe than sorry. So let's talk about cybersecurity. What SGA is doing about it. How do you come in? And the importance of it in as far as the young people are concerned.
Well, there is a lot about it, and we see actually the statistics going drastically up. It's the chances of a building to be on fire is maybe 1 out of 10,000. Chances of a robbery is it's maybe 1 out of 2,000. Chances to be a victim of cybersecurity, it's 1 out of 2.
Wow.
Lately, hackers try to hack your phone, steal your M-Pesa, steal your phone itself. But then, if they have the phone, it's not only the device, but also your content that they are after. Your contacts, your bank details, your passwords, all this. And it's increasing tremendously. So that's on one level. We do typically for companies security risk assessments. And we are engaging more and more cybersecurity into it. Do you have protocols in place? Do you change the passwords frequently? How is your IT infrastructure organized? Do you have a server room? Is it protected? All these questions need to be addressed because people forget, they take their devices, their laptops home, they go into a non-protected Wi-Fi system. So basically, and that is all about cybersecurity. Even think about if you have a cable of internet at home. Look in the streets how these cables walk. If I cut that cable, I put a small device in between, I know exactly what's going on there.
Okay.
And people are not aware.
Yeah.
So security, cybersecurity, goes very closely together. Today, unfortunately, there's too many people that look at isolated pillars. And cybersecurity is so complicated and so complex, it's not just one part. It's many different parts. And there is, I can tell you, I would not consider myself an expert, although I've been in security and even cybersecurity for 35 years. But the organized crime, they are very well organized. They have experts on all these areas and they bring it together. Unfortunately, society is not organized like that.
Yeah.
We are not. We are actually still quite ignorant, innocent about this.
Yeah.
And you mentioned families, which is a good point. Think about home,
and
your
just,
children.
Just before we get into the family, so what you're trying to say is if I have a device that I'm working with in the office, I shouldn't actually take it back at home because then actually be opening myself to cyber attacks?
Yeah, well, I would not say it that strictly, but if you do, take precaution. Make sure that you can use it, if it's a company laptop, then make sure you can only use it for company purposes, for instance, or protect it. Don't get into just an open network. Create a VPN, a protected environment.
Because sometimes I see if say I'm in a certain place, not necessarily work related, but you'd find that it prompts you to tell you that it's the Wi-Fi is not secure or something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes I bypass it and I'm like, I know what I want to do, so let me just go ahead.
Yeah. Now, well, if it says it's not secure, it's not secure. So that's what hackers typically do. They go, for instance, to an internet cafe or something, and they know it's an open Wi-Fi, and they know how to get in. So, and they try, by all means, try to get into your phone, your computer, for instance, through the Wi-Fi. But also, I think everybody has experienced calls.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I wanted to ask you, because there's a time myself personally I've experienced that, and I know a lot of other people must have experienced, where somebody calls you with a strange number, and mainly it's an international number.
Yeah.
Does it mean by picking it, then you'll actually be exposing yourself?
No, not by picking it itself. That is not causing per se an unsecure event. But what typically a lot of the scams are going on right now, they call either on behalf of the bank or on behalf of Safaricom or Airtel, and then pretend that they are an employee, and tell you have an unsecure, unsafe issue. We need to hurry, we need to change it, give me your password, give me your login details. And interestingly enough, they check, they give you a lot of data that you think, how would they know?
Yes,
how would
exactly.
And they have hacked it already. They have for instance, because they have been given a database from somebody else. You can buy databases, in the black market, and they use it then to attack you. And you think, oh, how do they know my daughter's child or my daughter's name, or how did they know which bank I'm in? They do know, and the only thing that is missing is your password. So. And a lot of people, you will be astonished, still give passwords or login details or private details. Never ever do that. A bank will never call for those details. Safaricom will never call. And I would just suggest, if you get calls like this, just hang up. Contact your person at the bank yourself.
The bank would need you there in person, not over the phone.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So that is one way to do it. How often do you get phishing emails? Say, your delivery is on the way. Please click here. And you think, I did not deliver. I didn't even order something. But you're still curious. You think, what would it be? What is in the parcel? The moment you click it, you're lost. You're into your system. They take over full control of your computer or your device. And when they take over full control, they block things. You put ransomware on, and that's the tricky part with children at home. If children are at the internet,
how do we protect children? Because we are living in an era where smartphones are the order of the day. Children are more on their phones than anywhere else. It's unlike when we were growing up. People were talking to each other, but for them, you're next to each other. But here you are. You're on the internet, on Instagram, and all that. So, how can parents or guidance, for that matter, protect children?
It's a very serious challenge, and it's a bit. It's double, because on one hand, you don't want them to spend all day on the phone. But sometimes it's convenient, isn't it? You are busy with something else. You go and use the phone. But at the end, it's monitoring, watching what they are doing. There's a lot of programs you can protect. You can protect the use of certain programs, certain websites. So there is software specifically for children. So that helps. Quite often, there's quite a lot of unpaid, but there you have to be also careful. Is it safe, secure? But so there is software, and I would always frequently check what is it that they are looking at. Check on them. Don't leave them alone. So, to be honest, if you allow a child to go on the internet, it's about leaving the child alone in CBD. You put them in the middle of town, and you go away and you say, here child, here you are. And that's the internet is the same. So you would not want to do that, I think.
Of course.
And therefore, please don't do that at the internet either. So make restrictions. You can put restrictions on the phone, on the device.
So are there just apps that you can just download that can actually help you to?
You can. For sure, on the phone, there's specific child apps that are safe, secure. Another thing is, what is a big mistake people make, we put a password on your laptop or your computer, but now you give that password to your child. But if your child knows it, your nanny may know it, your neighbor may know it, the friend of the child may know it, so it's out. So put, at least, if you give a password, a different password for the child than for yourself, so that they never ever can get into your password or into your system. So try to fragment. So you can easily, with a computer, make two accounts, so make a different account for the kids that they can't get into your programs, for instance.
Are you seeing a lot of cases of,
it's increasing tremendously, It's really, as I said, the chance to be a victim of cybercrime today is 1 out of 2. Which is big, isn't it?
That's big.
It's big. And I noticed last year, there are statistics, Ministry of Communication, they're publishing. But what they are publishing is only what they know. But if you see the graph is going up like this, then it tells you, but just look at yourself. From a company's perspective, we had last year a lot of attempts, to get in, and we were well protected because we took precaution. But we noticed the number of attempts were last year compared to the years before was exponential, and it's not getting better.
No, it's not going to go away because technology, internet. That's where we are now. That's where we are heading to. And I dare say that people will be more worried about cyber attacks than maybe attacks in their home or at personal level.
Yeah, cyber attacks. There is a lot of also people think about cybersecurity only about cyber attacks often, but it's much broader. The cybersecurity is not only about the attack from the outside. There is a lot of attacks from the inside. People forget, companies forget, every company nowadays is an IT company. Can you run your business without IT today? Without connectivity? Without the internet? Without email? You can't. So you're an IT company. And yet we don't protect ourselves from any security. Most of the crimes are still inside jobs. So 80-90% comes from the inside. So how is that possible? Yeah, because we are not vetting properly, sloppiness, we forget to put the password on, or we leave our computer open, or we give a colleague our login details. Very small basic things. That's the human factor, but it creates huge cyber issues. But it's so taking care of those issues, I think we need to draw much more attention to it and indeed prevent these things.
So I'm being told our time is running out. We could talk about so much. I'm sure there's still a lot to talk about in as far as security in itself is concerned. Cybersecurity being one of the biggest issue that people are now dealing with at a personal level, at a corporate level. But before we wind up, maybe I could just give you a few seconds just to give us your closing remarks in as far as security in general is concerned. And just as a personal level, and I'm really concerned about the use of our devices, and that is the phones. How best can we protect ourselves?
As I said before, the first start is use common sense. Really, is it really safe? Ask those questions. Be aware that you are a target as an individual and as a company. So that's one thing. So for private environment, I would say really take care and realize what your children might create an impact, yourself. And at the office, I think for businesses, people should understand that security is an enabler, actually, for business solutions. People look at security still as a cost. And I think that's the wrong way to look at it. I had the other day, I had a discussion with a logistics company. And they said, but it's so expensive. I said, what do you mean it's expensive? You lose
the cost
every
of
month.
Losing.
Yeah, exactly. They lost every month 7 containers of value. I said, but if I can reduce that to only 1 or 2, what are you talking about?
Exactly.
So we help you to create, first of all, a safer and secure place, not only for yourself, but most of all for your employees. Because we tend to forget, we look at big values, but what is the biggest value? It's our family. So let's protect ourselves, prevent and be alert.
Thank you so very much, Julius Tulahe. That is the CEO of SGS Securities. And just as he said, let's take care of ourselves. Let's be alert at a personal level, at corporate level, also looking at what is the value of having security to enable your business prosper. So thank you so much for taking the time to be with us this morning. We are not yet done. Stephanie Ayeta will be here with the Entertainment Thursday. We'll be bringing you the artists of the day, so you do not want to go away. I hope that you've learnt a lot in as far as security is concerned. You can always get in touch with us on our social media handles at KBC Channel 1, KBC TV, that is on Facebook, or just pay us a visit if at all you need any help in terms of security. We'll be able to hook you up with Julius Tulehe and the SGA Security. So thank you so much for taking the time to be with us this morning. This is Good Morning Kenya. My name is Marie Yambo.
Kiswahili kitukuzwe.
Watu wengine husoma hadi chuo kikuu lakini hawapati kazi kwa minajili kubwa wakitumia ujanja katika mtihani wao.
Kumbuka kwamba Kiswahili sio rasilimali tu, bali pia ni njia ya maisha na kuwasiliana kwa mmoja hadi mwingine.
Wananchi wanateseka wakisema wanataka haki zao. Wananchi watalia, hakuna maji, hakuna kazi, hakuna chakula. Lakini chanzo cha haya yote ni wanasiasa wafisadi.
Na uchukia urongo, kusikiza na kusema, hasa katika utungo na viandishi vyema.
Nikiripotia runinga ya KBC, ni mimi wenyu Justus Mutuku.
Kiswahili kitukuzwe.
Nini huko shule saa hizi? Basi unafukuzwa na mama wa huko.
Unaniambia sababu naitisha kuku mara 3 kwa saa nyingine kwa wiki, kwa mwezi. So it is us parents who are feeding you.
No, you're not feeding us. We are helping your kids to know how to cook.
Senior chief. Kuka. Can see.
Kwa shule inaenda wapi?
Hiyo kuku akikuja kwa shuleni, mwalimu anachukua ile kuku mtoto. Inasomesha mtoto.
Hata kucha tunatengenezanga nazo necklace.
Hayo yote mnachukua.
Kucha za kuku. Na manyoya ya kuku pia tunatengenezanga nayo pilo.
Kuna vilibili hapa ni wewe amechapa mwalimu sababu ya kutuma mtoto wako jumbani.
Ambiwa walete ng'ombe mheshimiwa. Itakuwa ni mzuri.
Watoto waambiwa walete ng'ombe.
Vitu kuku mheshimiwa.
kunalo jibu.
Nimepata jibu. Nimepata jibu. Uongozi na neno ni jibu la maisha.
Nimepata jibu.
Nimepata jibu. Nimepata jibu la maisha. Uongozi na neno ni jibu la maisha.
Hallelujah. Hey, hallelujah.
Usihangaike ndugu yangu, kunalo jibu. Usihangaike ndugu yangu, kunalo jibu. Usiteseke ndugu yangu, kunalo jibu. Using'ang'ane ndugu yangu, kunalo jibu. Usihangaike ndugu yangu, kunalo jibu. Usiteseke ndugu yangu, kunalo jibu. Kunalo jibu kwa Yesu, kunalo jibu kwa Yesu.
Mwokozi na neno ni jibu la maisha. 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 Mwokozi na neno ni jibu la maisha.
Nimepata jibu by Boniface Ndunda. We have just started the entertainment bit of Good Morning Kenya, and that song is called Jibu by Boniface Ndunda, as have said. Boniface,
Yeah.
karibu sana.
Asante.
Tumefurahi, umefanya tucheze studio saa hii asubuhi yote.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much for the song. Tell us about Jibu.
Jibu ni wimbo ambao unazungumzia the answer, yani majibu kutoka kwa Mungu. Kuna jibu kutoka kwa Mungu. Kwa hivyo najaribu ku-encourage watu wajue kana kwamba Mungu anaweza. Pengine uko kwa shida, lakini kuna jibu ndani ya Mungu. Pia kusoma ile neno lake utapata jibu pale ya maisha.
Jibu iko kwa Yesu.
Iko kwa Yesu.
Amazing. Yeah. Kuna watu wanapitia vitu mingi saa hizi, watu wako into depression, na mingi ya hizo mashida ni kwa sababu hawapati vitu wanataka. Kama ni kazi hawana, vitu haziendi venye wanataka. Unaweza waambiaje?
Naweza wa-encourage niwaambie chochote chawezekana kwa Mungu. Ni kwa imani tu. Kwa hivyo kuna jibu ndani ya Mungu kupitia kwa maombi na kuamini.
So wazidi maombi na kuamini. Prayer na faith.
Prayer and faith. Yeah, you'll get the answer.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Ulitoa 2 years ago, Jibu.
Jibu nimetoa 2 years ago. Na kuna pia song mwingine inaitwa Hana Wacha Kulia.
Hana Wacha Kulia.
Yeah, the same album.
Same, okay.
Yeah.
Ana Wacha Kulia. Na niko na picha. Kwa nini ulimba hiyo? But lakini tuambie.
Ya Ana. Ya Ana. Hiyo ni song ya kukutia moyo. Kwa sababu Ana alikuwa ana mtoto. Na kuna Penina alikuwa akona watoto. Na akawa na mdhiaki Ana. Kwa hivyo Ana akawa anaomba Mungu ampatie mtoto. Na Mungu akamjibu maombi yake. Kwa hivyo kile naweza kukuambia, ukimwamini Mwenyezi Mungu atakupatia kile ambacho unataka. Na ndiposa nataka ku-encourage mtu ambaye ako kwa shida, nimwambie kupitia kwa maombi kama Ana utaweza kupokea. Kama Ana aliomba mtoto na hakuwa na mtoto na akapata. Wewe ambao shida yako ni financial, ama pengine shida yako kuna shida ambayo imekukumba, Mungu mwenyewe anaweza. Kwa hivyo ukiomba kama Ana, mambo yote yanawezekana kwa Mwenyezi Mungu.
Okay. Yeah. So bado inarudi tena kwa maombi na imani.
Yeah.
All right. Gani ingine tena?
Kuna neno la Mungu.
Neno la Mungu. Najua kuna tena ingine. Neno la Mungu.
Na kuna neema.
Neema.
Ni kwa neema.
Kwa neema. Zote ziko album moja.
Ziko album moja.
Tuambie kwa neema.
Kwa neema. Mungu akikuneema, akikupa neema, umepata kibali kutoka kwake. Kwa hivyo
ukiwa na neema ya Mwenyezi Mungu utapata kibali. Pengine tuseme unataka kazi, Mungu akikuneemu, wakati wengine wanachaguliwa, unaweza onekana tu wewe. Ama pengine kuna jambo unataka kufanya, Mungu akishakupatia neema, you can go through.
You can go through with anything.
Yeah.
Ni neema grace.
Yeah.
By grace.
Yeah.
Lakini si kila mtu ako na neema.
Kila mtu ako na neema, lakini itadepend na neema, ni neema gani ambayo uko nayo.
So unasema kuna levels.
Kuna levels. Naweza sema kuna levels kwa sababu ukimwamini Mwenyezi Mungu anakupatia ile neema yake. Kuna neema zingine pia si ati kuna watu wanaweza kuneema, lakini ya Mungu iko juu. Ya Mungu iko juu. Yeah. Lakini unasema kuna viwango ni tofauti. Zinaweza kuwa tofauti.
Ama ni favor. Kuna neema na favor.
Zote huwa zina match. Just the same.
Okay, so umeziweka pamoja, neema na favor.
Yeah.
So okay, all right. Na hiyo nyingine umesema ni kwa neno la Mungu.
Neno la Mungu. Kwa hivyo ukisoma neno la Mungu, ukilitii, kuna mafanikio ndani ya maisha yako.
Yeah. So una encourage people to read the word.
Wasome neno.
Yeah. Okay.
So, na neno litawaelekeza mahali pazuri. Kwa hivyo ni vizuri kusoma neno la Mungu.
Watu wasome neno. So kwa hizi zote zenye ulitoa 2 years ago, hiyo ndio time hiyo album ulidrop. So hizi miaka 2 zingine umekuwa ukifanya nini?
Niko na albamu ya 3 ambayo sijaweka kwa YouTube na sijaweka mapicha. Na soon nitaenda kushoot.
Kuzitoa.
Na itakuwa kwa channel yangu.
Okay, so channel yako ni gani?
Channel yangu ni Boniface Ndunda ama Brother Boni.
Brother Boni.
Yeah.
Mtu akisearch Brother Boni.
Brother Boni. Boni utaandika B-O-N-I.
B-O-N-I. Watu watapata ngoma zako zote hapo.
Watapata ngoma zangu zote pale.
Okay, so within hii time umekuwa ukiproduce music, kumekuwa na challenges gani over 2 years? Because kuna wenye wanatoanga hivi 1 month later umetoa ingine. Kuna challenge ni umencounter katikati kama musician?
Challenge ziko. Juu hauwezi produce your song bila pesa. Hiyo ni challenge moja.
Financial.
Haya, ingine unaweza ingia kwa studio, ukutana na majamaa wa kuoshe.
Umekuwa na experience? Umeshaenda studio ukapata umeoshwa?
Nishaoshwa. Nilipokuwa nikianza mtu ana kurecord, ushampatia pesa, anaingia. Wengine wanakushoot. Nyimbo wanatoa vibaya. Sasa inabidi ni lazima ufanye kazi nyingine mpya. Ndio ilingana na ile vile utatoa ile kazi yako ikuwe perfect.
Okay. So lesson ni utafute producers wenye wanajulikana ama watu umekuwa referred to?
Ni vizuri utafute watu ambao unajua kazi yao vizuri. Yeah.
Okay, so some financial challenges, kuoshwa, ni gani katikati?
Pia marketing inakuwa na shida. Juu bila kama una fedha, marketing inaleta shida.
Okay.
So you have to market your songs. Yeah.
Sawa. Tunataka ngoma yako gani unataka tusikize, utuimbie kidogo?
Niimbe bila nini?
Moja kama kwa neema. Acha nichague kwa neema.
Wacha niimbe ile ambayo sijaweka kwa YouTube.
Sawa. Tuko hapa kuisikia katika.
Inasema ni raha kupendwa na Mungu. Raha kupendwa na Mungu ni raha. Raha upendo wa Mungu ni raha. Kupendwa na Mungu ni raha. Upendo wa Mungu ni raha. Kupendwa na Mungu ni raha. Upendo wa Mungu ni raha.
Hiyo ni uzuri tu. Hiyo tunangoja YouTube inatokea.
Hiyo ndio ile latest sahi.
Haya, sawa. Kuna ngoma yako inaitwa Ana, tunataka kuisikiza sahi.
Ana. Iko.
Haya, sasa tuanzishie alafu producer ataiplay tukatike.
Palikuwa na mtu mmoja warama wa nchi ya milima, jina lake Elikana. Alikuwa na wake wawili, mmoja aliitwa Ana na
Palikuwa na mtu mmoja warama wa nchi ya milima, jina
Anna, tumetoka kukatika tena. That is Anna by Boniface. Boniface.
Yeah.
In wimbo tumeona umekolabo pia na mtu. Hapo mwisho tumeona backup.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So kwa hiyo story ya backup ama collab umesema unatoa album nyingine soon.
Yeah.
Kuna any collabos na any gospel artist?
Sina collab na any gospel artist.
Ni zako tu zote sahi. Yeah. Una intend kufanya any collaboration?
Nitahitaji tu, natafuta tu kama ndapata.
Okay. Ni nani artist gani unaweza taka kuimba pamoja nao?
Boni Mwaitenge. Rosi Mwando.
Okay. Big artists.
Yeah.
All right. Aim yako kwa gospel industry ni gani?
Ministering. Yangu nataka tu ku minister.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not in for the money. Kwa gospel watu wanasema pia you need kutafuta pesa as much as you're ministering.
Pesa ikikuja ndakubali.
Hawezi kata?
Siwezi kata. Ministry lazima iende na pesa.
Okay, but goal ni ku-minister.
Yeah.
Okay, sawa. Boniface, tukienda karibia kumalizia, ni nini unaweza taka watu wajue hapa nje according to the songs that you sing and everything? Message gani unataka kupitisha?
Ile nataka kupitisha ni wajue kuwa Mungu anaweza. Kupitia na experience ya maisha yangu, naweza sema hakika Mungu anaweza. Yeah.
So watu wasipoteze
usikufe moyo. Tuseme tu kama the new artist, wale new coming artist. Usikufe moyo. Jipe moyo na uzidi na kuendelea kumuita Mungu katika uimbaji wako. Na usiimbe kwa sababu ati unataka fedha. Lakini focus kwa ile ministry ya uimbaji. Okay. Na Mungu pia atakubariki. Hawezi kuacha tu hivyo.
Okay. Yeah. So focus, watu wasi lose hope.
Yeah.
Aya, sawa. Wimbo ya mwisho tunataka kumaliza na wimbo. Lakini kabla hiyo tupatie tena wimbo mwingine nyiko kwa album yako mpya.
Niko kwa album yangu mpya.
Sneak peek, venye umetupatia wengine kidogo tu.
Okay. Yes wetu.
Yes wetu.
Yeah.
Tuimbie kidogo.
Yesu wangu. Yesu wetu. Bariki. Mwokozi Yesu, bariki. Uzima wetu, bariki. Usitumane, bariki. Shuka mwenyewe, bariki.
Yeah. Okay, that's the new song yetu tunaingoja. Tukifunga sasa ya kweli. Social media umesema wakupate wapi on YouTube?
Social media mnipate kwa YouTube Boniface Ndunda. Facebook Boniface Ndunda. TikTok ni Brother Boni.
Okay, hadi TikTok umefika?
Nimefika.
Sawa.
Instagram ni Boniface Mutune.
Boniface Mutune. Sawa. Tunataka kumaliza na hii ngoma inaitwa Nguma.
Osa nguma nangazo.
Yes. Haya, tupatie moves tukianza na wewe.
Osa nguma nangazo wenga imumbi wakwa kovika bumbi kete niteiwa kungai.
Tite koko nunduni mwana waku kundu mwanye na tembea nikite street boy ni wangu tite koko nunduni mwana waku osangu mana ngazo wenga imomi wako ubika nikite nitei waku ngai osangu mana ngazo wenga imomi wako ubika nikite nitei waku ngai mandina mwana dina ni wandongwe ni wano mwese mwiya ilundu ni mwana waku madina mwana dina ni wano mwese mwiya ni wano mwese mwiya ilundu ni mwana waku osangu mana ngazo wenga imumbi wako wabika mumbi kete ni zei waku ngai osangu mana ngazo wenga imumbi wako.
used to say that that was the happiest day of his life. But hiyo siku, he found a friend and a brother.
Kuna kitu nimekuwa nikitaka kukuambia for a while.
Tutasimama tisti kwa ajili ya dunia yetu, familia zetu
na marafiki wetu, sio?
KBC Channel 1, we put people at the heart of events with our captivating weekly news features. Every day, we are breaking new grounds with informative, entertaining, and inspiring human interest stories. On Mondays, 9 p.m., we have The Cabinets. Tuesday, 9 p.m., we get inside the barracks for military tales. We delve in the world of cinemas and theater each Wednesday night. For the young and industrious, make a date with us every Thursday at 9 p.m. Fridays are dedicated for my culture. On Saturdays, we go back in time for history in perspective. And on Sundays, we get to know the process of how things are done and made. KBC Channel 1 News features a whole lot of wonderful viewing experience.
And the days when we were in primary school, when we used to be told, asiyefunzwa na mamaye hufunzwa na ulimwengu, na ulimwengu mwenyewe mafundishowe machungu.
I tell you, you've just taken me back to mgeni ukumpokea kumbe.
There's a lot of just this shairi. Yes. You are always so dire. You are always just warning about dire consequences. Asiyefunzwa, like you are saying, na mamake atafunzwa na maandamano and other things.
Nikikumbuka maisha yangu ya zamani, nikikumbuka maisha yangu ya zamani, moyo wangu unaniuma kila wakati, moyo wangu unanitesa kila wakati. Yale matusi niliyopewa kule nyuma, yale matusi niliyopata kule nyuma, moyo wangu bado hujasahau kamwe, moyo wangu bado hujasahau. Mlitamani ni ya chini, mlitamani maisha yangu yawe chini, lakini Mungu naye akabadili hayo. Lakini sasa maisha yangu yako sawa, sasa hivi maisha yangu yako sawa. Ndiye Mungu anayejibu maombi yetu, ndiye Mungu anayejibu maombi yetu. Ni Mungu anayejibu maombi, ni Mungu anayetuinua, ni Mungu anayejibu maombi, ni Mungu anayetuinua. Adui zangu mnayopanga leo hii, na wakumbusha hata juzi mliyapanga. Mlitamani nisifike hapa nilipo, lakini Mungu amebadili hayo yote. Mlitamani nisiitwe baba leo, lakini Mungu amenipa watoto. Huduma yangu mlitamani isisonge, lakini Mungu bado yupo na mimi.
right, we are back again with two amazing artists in studio. Your song that we've just had, inaitwa Maisha, and it is by Hash B, who is on my right side. Karibu sana Hash B.
Asante sana.
And interestingly, I have another guest that dressed all in red. Mimi ndo sikupata memo, so that is Success Naomi right here on my left side. Karibu Success.
Asante.
Okay, so I am very much excited kusikia. Na leo tuko all about gospel and what not. So acha nianze na Hash B. Hii song tumecheza saa hizi Maisha. Tuambie about Maisha. Ninaona ni encouragement pia, una encourage Mungu anajibu maombi. Like the previous artist we had, pia song ilikuwa around kujibu maombi.
Hii Maisha inazungumzia yale maisha yenye nilipitia kule nyuma. Ni nyimbo ambayo inazungumzia yale mambo niliyoona kule nyuma, maisha yangu ya kitambo, watu wakinidhihaki, huwezi fanya ili, ukifanya ili wanakuambia kwamba ni mbaya. Ukiwaambia kwamba nahitaji ili, wanakuambia huyu tumemzoea ni mtu wa kuomba tu. Unaona? So hiyo ndio wakati nilikuwa kwa maombi na Mungu akanifungulia na akaniambia kwamba naweza imba wimbo juu ya maisha yangu, ndio maana yake nilitokea na nikatoa hiyo wimbo inaitwa Maisha.
So imekuwa message kutoka life experience yako mwenyewe. So kuna points kwa life yako watu walikuwa wanakudharau, nini size wanakuona unaimba kwa mbele ya TV.
Kuna wengi hata sasa hivi bado hawaamini. Hata wakiniona watasema na wewe naye
nini amefanya?
Tulimfanyia tulikuwa tunafikiria kwamba hatafika hapa na tumeona amefika. So hiyo ndio maisha ambayo bado tunaishi, na kama watumishi wa Mungu ambayo tunafanya kazi ya kuimba nyimbo za Injili, tunaipitia na bado tutaipitia.
So ni trials and tribulations zitakuwa, lakini ni Mungu anakupatia nguvu.
Ni Mungu ndiye anajibu tu, anajibu maombi. Ukiomba Mungu anakujibu tu.
Sawa, asante sana. Success, based on that, ushaipitia anything similar to that? Watu mahali walikudharau lakini Mungu alikutoa kwa hiyo situation?
Of course. Nimepitia kila greatness inakuanga na ka story. So nimepitia mambo kadha wa kadha pale ambapo kulingana na upbringing yangu, kuna wale watu wenye walikuwa wanakuangalia wanasema sasa hii familia yenu vile mnakaa, hata can even anything good come out of this place. So obvious unaambia watu hata uko na kipawa cha kuimba, sema kuimba si shida. Hiyo muziki yako utaproduce aje? Juu ya ile vile wanajua financial station ya kwenu. So madhihaka ziko, madharau ndogo, lakini una focus tu na ile calling yako. Juu unajua Mungu alikuita ukiwa peke yako. So wewe ndio una understand the place of the calling, the assignment. Una focus tu.
So you focus because God called you peke yako.
Oh yes.
It wasn't a group call.
Ilikuwa meeting ya watu wawili, wewe na Mungu. Sasa wewe ndio unaelewa the assignment. So unaziba sikio kwa hayo mengine, una focus na the calling.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's talk about your latest song. It's a cover song by Solomon Mkubwa.
Yes.
Tuambie kwanza, why did you choose cover? Because you've done several covers, tutaziongelelea, but why do you choose to do covers?
Okay. Kuna zile nyimbo zenye mimi personally they have ministered to my heart so much. Zimekuwa za baraka kwa maisha yangu. So kama hiyo wimbo ya Mfalme wa Amani by Solomon Mkubwa, he is one of my role models by the way. So huo wimbo mimi personally unanibariki sana. So nikatamani pia kama back kule kwetu kuna pia maybe mtu mwenye labda haelewi Kiswahili na anasikia labda hii wimbo kuna vile inabariki lakini sielewi. So nikasema wacha niweze kuweka kwa ile lugha yenye ataielewa kwa urahisi. So that is one of the reasons as to why napenda kufanya cover. Ndio pia wale pale kwetu pale nyumbani wale kila mtu ifikie kila mtu at a personal level.
Okay, so tusikie kwanza wimbo yenye umefanya cover, Mungu mwenye nguvu. Yes. Okay, let's listen to that and then we get back to usher into it.
Mungu wetu mwenye nguvu ni Baba wa milele. Mungu wetu mwenye nguvu.
Ninakupenda Yesu. Asante Bwana. Mungu wetu mwenye nguvu ni Baba tumaini la kupata maisha Baba, wajaponiteka majirani wangu, we uko upande wangu. Uhimidiwe Yawe, neema yako, fadhili zako kila asubuhi ni mpya tena, zanifariji moyo niamkapo. Wanipa tumaini la maisha Baba yangu, o duniani ninatembea nawe Baba yangu, haujaniacha mimi, o Baba. Neema yako, fadhili zako kila asubuhi ni mpya tena, zanifariji moyo niamkapo. Kulala kuamka nipa neema yake Mungu.
A great worship time we had there. So nice. So umesema you usually sing the covers because the songs have ministered to you.
Oh yes, at a personal level.
Okay.
Yes.
Before niende kwa Hashbi, so have you ever sung a song, one of your songs, and then gotten a message from someone, amesema imembless, imemminister, and if so, how did that make you feel?
Oh yes, there is a song that I've done personally, my own composition, inaitwa Jina la Yesu. So huo wimbo vile nimeuimba, the places I've ministered, the people that have heard the song, wameniambia huo wimbo ni wa baraka kwa maisha yao. That one makes me feel fulfilled.
Wow.
Yani nina feel kabisa I am fulfilled. This is what God called me to do. And that is the desire of my heart, that nikiimba tu, nikiachilia wimbo tu, apart from many other things, ikuwe kuna mtu mwenye at a personal level ataniambia success, nilisikiza huu wimbo Jina la Yesu, I was sick and I got healed.
Wow.
Nilisikiza huu wimbo, nilikuwa chini, nikasikia moyo wangu umetiwa nguvu. So that is the desire of my heart.
Wow.
It really makes me feel like, oh yes, I'm on the right track. I'm doing what God called me to do. Yes.
And you can see the genuineness in your voice as you say that.
Oh yes.
Amazing.
Oh, yes.
And for you, Hashbi, what is usually your goal? Ushaimba a song and then mtu akwambia this song has blessed my heart?
Ni wengi sana.
Inakufanya usikie aje?
Unajua wakati nimeambiwa ni umetoa nyimbo na mtu amekupikia simu amekwambia hey, na huo wimbo wenye umetoa umenifanya nijue kitu fulani, ama nisikie kwa ndani ya moyo wangu kwamba nimepatilika kiasi. Nasikia ni kama kweli jenye Mungu alipanda ndani mwangu pato kumbe kina nguvu ya kubadilisha kitu.
Wow.
Yeah.
So inakuinspire uendelee na spread the gospel.
Yeah, inanipea ile nguvu sasa ya kusema kwamba kama hii nilitoa na mtu akasema kwamba imemuinua, nikitoa ingine wangapi watasema kwamba imewainua.
Okay.
So hiyo ndio inanipea moyo na kuendelea.
Na kuna wimbo nye ushaimba yako wewe mwenyewe ikakuministeria at some point in time, maybe ulikuwa unapitia kitu ikakuministeria wimbo wenyewe wenye uliandika?
Niko na hii yenye imetoka kuimba hii ya maisha hii. Hiyo wimbo mwenyewe nikikaa chini kweli nasikia kama inanifanya pia mimi moyo wangu utulie. Kwa sababu kwa yale mateso na machungu ambayo nilipitia inanifanya nijue kwamba Mungu ananipenda. Yeah.
Wow, amazing. Aim yako ya gospel ni gani kwa gospel artist?
Ya kuingia kuwa gospel artist niliingia sababu sio kwamba ni mimi nilijileta, ni Mungu alinileta.
Okay.
Na nikaingia kwamba nataka kupitia wimbo wangu mtu fulani mahali ajue kwamba sio yeye peke yake, hayo mateso ambayo anapitia sio yeye peke yake. Kwa sababu kuna wengi ambao kupitia nyimbo wanapata maisha yao imepatilika, wanasema kwamba tulikuwa chini, lakini kupitia kwa zile nyimbo ambazo tumesikia kwa wasanii zinatufanya tusonge mbele kimaisha na tukue na. So kuingia kwa hiyo industry ya gospel ni ili nipatilisha maisha ya mtu fulani mahali.
Okay,
yeah.
Amazing. Turudi tena kwa success. Tunataka kusikia wimbo yako Jina la Yesu. Inspiration ilikuwa gani ndio tuingie kwa wimbo?
The Bible says that the name of Jesus is a strong tower. The righteous shall cling unto it and they shall be safe. So nilikuwa nataka ninenee mtu mahali nimwambie kwamba no matter what you're going through, haijalishi situation yenye uko sahi, there is a name. There is a name that you can call unto and you will be safe. I like it. Napenda kuwa kila shida tuko nayo iko na jibu katika neno la Mungu. There is a solution to every problem in the word of God. So niko nataka niwaambie watu, mimi mwenyewe nilipopata ufunuo wa hiyo verse ya kwamba the name of Jesus is a strong tower. So kumbe hakuna haja ya kuwa desperate, hakuna haja ya ku put your trust on men because they can disappoint you anytime. Lakini this name Jesus, it will never disappoint you. So that is the message I want to pass to the people. That no matter the situation, no matter how dark the moment looks, call on the name of Jesus and you will be safe.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
Asha, listen to the song.
Jina, jina la Yesu ni jina lenye nguvu, jina lenye mamlaka kushinda majina yote.
Jina
Jina la Yesu. What a song. What a song. Such a blessing.
Amen.
I've really enjoyed that. Hashpi? Yes. Such a blessing. Sindio?
Iko sawa sana.
Amazing.
Kwanza hiyo Mungu yako na wewe.
Amen.
Mungu amekuwa.
You can feel it.
I receive that.
Hiyo song yako iko sawa sana.
Glory to God. Thank you so much. Amen.
Amazing. Maybe you two maybe one day can do a collab. Now that you know mmepatana coincidentally wearing red and we're enjoying each other's songs.
Ya Mungu ni mengi.
Ya Mungu ni mengi,
yes, yes.
But have you done any collab so far?
So far not really. Not yet, but I know zinakuja nyingi kwa wingi.
Kuna zenye tunaweza to prepare tungoje.
Wacha ikuwe surprise.
Surprise?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yes. Any artist that you've wanted to work with internationally?
Oh yes.
Which one?
Let me begin with my best. I love Christina Shusho so much.
Christina Shusho.
Oh my God, I love her so much. She's my role model.
Why would you say that? Why is she the one?
Okay, her music itself, even if you get into my phone, into everything, you will find playlist ya nyimbo zake zote, kuanzia zile za kwanza mpaka za mwisho. Yani nyimbo zake zinanibariki sana sana sana. And again, yani her work in the ministry, it's been so clear, so open, so I just admire her so much. I love Sinach. I love Sinach so much. She's also one of the people that I'm looking onto.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, one day, by God's grace, in the collab between Christina Shusho and Sinach and you.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Amazing. And for you, Hashbi, kuna artists unataka work now internationally and local?
Niko kwanza na nikisikia nyimbo zake huwa nafurahia sana ni Sifaeli. Napenda sana nyimbo za Sifaeli Mwapuka, hata ukiingia kwa hiyo simu yangu napenda sana kumfuatilia sababu akiimba nasikia kweli kuna kitu ambayo iko ndani mwake ambayo pia mimi nasikia ni kama inaamuka.
Wow. Okay. Na mwingine mgani?
Na hapa Kenya nawapenda wote. Nawapenda wote. Wale gospel artist na wapenda wote. Yeyote mwenye anaweza sema kwamba nifanye naye kazi, siwezi kataa sababu ni kazi ya Mungu ambayo tunaifanya. Na huwezi kataa kwa sababu labda unaweza kataa na Mungu amepanga kwamba mfanye naye kazi. Ukikataa ni kama umefunga njia zako ama zake, so lazima tu ufuate.
So
lakini unaomba
kubali. So nilikuwa nitakuuliza hiyo. Utakubali tu ama utauliza pia Mungu kwanza?
Lazima uombe, uulize Mungu, hii imekuja ni yako ama ni ya nani?
Okay. And what do you think about the gospel industry in Kenya? Tumeona watu wakiingia, wakitoka, wengine wako, lakini message watu wanasema sound gospel.
Gospel industry in Kenya iko sawa sana. Ni wale wenye ni wajaje wenye wanaiharibu.
Wachache wanaiharibu.
Wajaje wanaiharibu, but gospel kama unaweza kuwa na gospel artist kama huyu hapa, utasema aje gospel industry ni mbaya?
Okay, so gospel industry bado haijakufa,
iko sawa. Ni wajaje tu wanaiharibu, but Mungu unajua hata kama mko kwa safari mnaenda mahali kuna vikwazo vitatokea, lakini at the end utaona mwangaza ukienda.
Okay, success. Unaonaje gospel industry in Kenya?
Okay, personally mimi naweza sema okay, mimi kama success kuna vile huwa nimechukulia the music, the umbrella music. Huwa nachukua kuna wale watu wanaimba gospel music, I call it gospel ministry, ama worshipers, and then there is the other side of, I take them as I say it's gospel industry, right? So nasema generally iko sawa kabisa, except that kama venye Hashbi amesema kuna wachache wenye wameharibu, lakini generally iko sawa. Lakini mimi nasema kuwa sasa ile mtu ameamua kuingia kwa muziki akuwe categorical. Mimi naingia hapa ku worship. Mimi naingia hapa, unajua Mungu huwa abariki matendo. God blesses the motive. The motive behind your action. That is what God will bless. So mimi nimeingia kuimba. I'm doing music. What is my motive behind that? Kwa nini ninafanya hivi? So that one is what will define the industry at large, because utaona, for example, kuna mtu mwenye anaweza itwa kuimba mahali fulani, unapata hata wale wanakualika wanakuuliza how much do you charge? Unaona? So depending with your motive on what you are doing, that is when you'll be able to answer that question.
Okay.
So generally the industry, the music iko tu sawa depending na motive yako. Why are you doing it?
Okay.
Like for example, mimi natamani tu nibariki watu. Neno la Mungu lifikie watu kupitia muziki in different parts of the world.
So yours is to spread the gospel.
Yes, so if God, if along the way God will come through for me and he bless through it financially,
why not?
Why not? But I'm in line. I mean, his blessing will come in line to my calling.
Okay.
Definitely I will take them. Definitely I will appreciate. Yes.
Okay.
But siwezi kosa kwenda kuimba mahali ama kubariki watu lesi kwa conference, kwa worship experience kwa sababu maybe I wanted 100k na wana.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very clear.
Yeah.
So motive ndio Mungu anaangalia.
Motive ndio God ana bless.
All right.
Yeah.
Hashbi.
Yes.
Is there a message that you want to get to people, someone out here watching you right now, from the message that you sing in your song, or for whatever message that you have?
Yeah, yule mwenye ako hapa ananitazama, nitakwambia kuwa maisha ambayo unayapitia saa hizi sio maisha ya kesho. Sababu ya kesho ni Mungu ameyapanga.
Okay.
Yeah, hivyo tu.
Hivyo, okay. Tuambie about song yako ni Mungu, lakini tunamalizia na song yako ingine.
Yeah, ni Mungu. Ni Mungu ni nyimbo ambayo niliimba sababu ya wengi huwa wanasema kwamba hawajaona lile likifanyika, hawajaona yale yakifanyika. But kitu yenye nitawaambia ni kuwa Mungu ndiye ambaye tu akona jibu la maisha yako. Ni Mungu tu ambaye atakuinua kutoka mahali pale. Kwa sababu ukitegemea binadamu, wewe mwenyewe utahangaika. Sababu binadamu mwisho atakuaja. Wakati ulikuwa na pesa, saa hizo huna, atakimbia tu kuaje wewe mwenye una saa hiyo akimbie kwa mwingine.
So ni tegemea Mungu.
Tegemea tu ni Mungu.
Nae, social media platform yako ni gani watu watakupata?
Ya mimi huwa nakuwa tu na mbili. Facebook naitwa Hashbi. Na YouTube naitwa Hashbi.
Hashbi. YouTube Hashbi. Okay. Yako Success.
Okay, on all platforms utanipata kama Success Naomi Official. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook page. Everywhere. Success Naomi Official.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you guys for coming on board and blessing us with your songs and your message. Tunataka kumaliza sasa na hii ngoma inaitwa Nipokeeni by Hashbi. Hashbi.
Yes.
Usher us into the song.
Yeah. Wasasi wangu nimefika nipokeeni, ndugu zangu nimefika nipokeeni.
Hashbi, mwana mpotevu anarudi nyumbani, nipokeeni mnifurahie. Wasasi wangu nimefika mnisamehe, ndugu zangu nimerudi mnisamehe.
And the days when we were in primary school, when we used to be told, asiyefunzwa na mamaye hufunzwa na ulimwengu, na ulimwengu mwenyewe mafundishowe machungu.
I tell you, you've just taken me back to mgeni kumpokea kumbe.
There's a lot of just this shairi. Yes. You are always so dire. You are always just warning about dire consequences. Asiyefunzwa like you are saying na mamake atafunzwa na maandamano and other things.
He used to say that that was the happiest day of his life. That hiyo siku, he found a friend and a brother.
Kuna kitu nimekuwa nikitaka kukuambia for a while.
Tutasimama tisti kwa ajili ya dunia yetu, familia zetu
na marafiki wetu, sio?
Kama maji tutakata, tujivinjari bebe, hatujipa wenyewe. Napendo la kupinda, pinda, pinda mugongo. Unanimaliza sheri, body ulivyojaza, jaza, jaza mtoto. Oh mashallah my baby, ikisema go, go, go low, go, go low baby. Wenenda paka chini, 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 chenda paka chini, chini, chini. Tenda wakisha moto, 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 to baby. Kasi baadaye kwa chini, chini. Leo mpaka kokoriko, kokoriko. Kokoriko, kokoriko. 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 Usijipimie, situnywe tulewe. Baby walai, navyokupenda mie ukianguka kubebe. Nikisema go, go, go low, go, go low baby. Wenenda paka chini, chini, chini. Chenda paka chini, chini, chini. Tenda wakisha moto, 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 to baby. Kasi baadaye kwa chini, chini, chini. Wenenda paka chini, chini, chini. Leo mpaka kokoriko, kokoriko. Kokoriko, kokoriko. 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 Unanimaliza sheri, body ulivyojaza, jaza, jaza mtoto. Oh mashallah my baby.
I know sometimes you be like say nobody sent you. That's what I like. I care for you, my friend.
How do you know vex for me? Say I never call you since, but I hope that you are well. I hope your mind gets ill. Every day I dey pray for you, make you up
sight. See my shoulder, make you rest upon me. You know I got you, let me be your friend indeed. I'm money don't show now. I don't keep some for you. You know go suffer, 'cause anything I get now for me and you.
Welcome back. Still enjoying the music, but we take a short break from the music, and we want to get you into a yoga mood because we have the Yoga Magic Kenya with us here, and apparently I'm the only one who's not dressed properly for this because it's going to be very practical. And I'd like to introduce them. Christopher, the one at the middle, that is Christopher, and Leon. And then Nikki, the only lady doing yoga today here. Yeah? So karibuni sana, guys.
Welcome.
All right. When do you welcome? You're welcoming to yoga?
Yeah, I'm welcoming you to yoga.
Thank you. So, tunataka to understand whatever is happening here. Yep. But tell us a little bit about Yoga Magic Kenya, since you're the leader here.
So, Yoga Magic Kenya is a power yoga studio. We offer yoga classes, dance classes, and our main aim is more about fitness and a healthy lifestyle.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that what yoga is all about, fitness and whatnot?
Yeah, so yoga is more of a healthy lifestyle, mindfulness, and keeping fit.
Okay, healthy lifestyle, mindfulness, and keeping fit.
Sure.
There's some common myths that are there about yoga. You want to address those? What are some of the common myths or misconceptions about yoga?
So most people know yoga is Illuminati-like.
Yeah.
And most people think yoga is more about just meditating. But yoga is, okay, though we have some meditation for mindfulness, but mostly is more of asana, more of moving, and more of sweating. Because to sweat is a musty sweat, you need to detox, and more of awakening your awareness and your body.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it's not about Illuminati at all. You want to nikata hiyo?
Yet mekata.
Okay. So I think people say that because kuna the chanting part and whatnot. Is that part of yoga? Is that rightfully there?
Okay. So there are some type of yoga that have the chanting. But our type of yoga today, it's power. So it's only you and your body and the mat.
So this is a type of, you do a specific type of yoga, and that's called power.
Power vinyasa.
Okay. And that's for something to do with the mind, lifestyle, and...
Mind and body.
Okay, mind and body, basically.
Yeah.
Sawa. What types of exercises that include? Because...
So mostly with the type of yoga, we teach... For gyms, it's good for gyms, for kids, adults, senior students, old. Even Paralympics can do the type of yoga. So it's available for everyone.
So anyone can do it. My grandfather can do it.
Yeah, no matter the size, the shape. Yeah.
But it's tailor-made in ages.
Yeah, even the age.
Okay, all
right. Akwe mzee, akwe mtoto, you still can do yoga.
Okay, for the mind, what type? Because we want to get into it practically, but maybe you can mention it.
For the mind, is some meditation, some breathing to help you calm, and maybe if you have stress or anxiety, it helps too. Actually, with the benefits of yoga is more of stress, anxiety, depression, weight loss, body toning. Like yoga has multi-benefits. If you start discussing them now,
hatutamaliza.
tutaandika kitabu.
So it's all round.
Yeah. Multi benefits.
Okay. Finally, before we get into it, Sasa, because that's the part we're waiting for, tell us, how did you guys meet? How did you come about mkamua start Yoga Magic Kenya?
So mostly Yoga Magic Kenya, we started just from ile tu kupatana, kukaa chini, kudiscuss with my fellow yogis, tukaamua we partner up to start a studio ndio tuendeleze the lifestyle, a healthy lifestyle. Because you know, like in the world we are living now, everybody has his or her own either stress, either depression, like in the world we are living now. Kila mtu ako na that something mahali antaka a get out of the normal world. Either you be by yourself, ama you meditate, ama you just do something to
escape kidogo.
Yeah, to escape the normal world.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Take us through the process. Okay. Where should we start?
So if to the audience, if they're joining us,
yes,
you'll come find your seat.
Okay, I'm here to watch. Clearly, I don't have my mats or anything.
So if you're joining us back at home, maybe you wanna move your table to the sides. You can find a chair if you have any issue with sitting. And for class today, we'll start with breathing.
Okay.
So you'll take your right hand in front of your face. With your right thumb, you close your right nostril. Take a breath in through your left. Using your ring finger, close your left nostril, exhale to the right.
Okay.
Full breath in through the right. Close with the thumb, exhale to the left. Deep breath in again. Close and exhale. Full breath in. Close and exhale. Yeah. And if you're there back at home and you're joining us, 5 more breaths by yourself. Keep breathing. Close, exhale. And make sure you're taking equal inhalation and equal exhalation. And maybe if you're done with your 5 breaths, you may gently choose to drop your hand down. If not, keep breathing. And still on your sitting position, you'll take your left hand on top of your right knee, your right hand beside your bum. Make sure your hand is beside your bum. If you're sitting on a chair, you can choose to grab the hand of your chair. Full breath in. With an exhalation, you twist and look back. So with the twisting are good for your spine. And always breathe while practicing. 5, 4, in and out, 3 nose, 3, 2, and for 1. Coming back to the center, you switch other side. Full breath in. When you exhale, you take a twist and look back. And with every exhalation, keep twisting. 5, in and out, 3 nose for 5 breaths. 4, 3, 2, and for 1. Back to the center and straighten your feet forward. Big toes pointing to your chest. You reach your hands up. You rise, grow tall. And when you exhale, you bow forward. So for our today's class, with Nikki, she'll be doing beginners. With Leon, we'll be doing advanced. You can either choose to hold here or choose to go further. 5, 4, 3, 2, and for 1. You slowly come up and take your feet on one side, coming to your hands and knees. And again, if you're back at home, make sure your distance between your hands and your knees is equal. And we're going to take cat and cow. This is good for your spine, for those who have some lower back issues or spine issues. So with an inhale, you lift your chest, lift your tailbone, look up. And with an exhalation, make sure you're rounding your spine, you're looking at your core. Full breath in, lift chest, lift tailbone, look up. When you exhale, you round your spine and look at your core. 3 more breaths by yourself, make sure you're breathing. And you're moving with every breath. 2 more together. Breathe in. If you're back at home joining us, make sure you're in the same position as us. The last deep breath in. Open chest, look up. And exhale. Take a rounded spine. And coming into a neutral spine, that's a straight back. I'll tuck your toes and take a downward facing V, making a V shape with your body. Keep pressing chest to thighs. Make sure you're looking at the space between your feet. And again, if you're back at home, make sure you're breathing. Deep breath in, deep breath out. A full breath in and a breath out. And you'll bend your knees, your chest to thighs, look all the way to the top of your mat, and step or walk to the top. With your feet hip width, opposite hand grabs opposite elbow, and you drop your head. Make sure you're breathing. And if you're back at home and you're that person who has insomnia or lack of sleep, well, this pose is good for you. So anytime you lack sleep, choose to stay here just for 10 breaths, and then you'll be good to go. And always breathe on your pose. You're allowing blood flow from the crown of your head to your pinky toe. Take a breath in, and when you exhale, you gentle let go of the bind with your hands. Bring your feet together, touch. Vertebrae by vertebrae, you find your way up into a standing position. Inhale, you rise. When you exhale, palms meet and palms to your heart center. Take a breath in and a breath out. Reach hands up, breathe in. And when you exhale, let's take a twist. Take your left hand forward, your right hand goes back and twist. Inhale, reach up. When you exhale, you twist other side and look back. Make sure you're twisting your spine and feel that nice sensation in your spine. Deep breath in, and with an exhalation, palms meet, and bring your palms to your heart center. Full breath in. When you exhale, palms beside the hips. And at your standing position, just check in with yourself. Make sure you're connecting with the right side of your body and your left side. If you feel like falling forward, falling back, right or left, you find your center line. That's the center of your body. Together, breathe in and a breath out. Next, we'll be moving into standing poses. If you're back at home, or let's go into standing poses. So your left hand forward, and coming into a dancer's pose position. With your right hand, you choose to grab your foot. And either you can choose to stay here, or choose to lift your foot higher. Make sure you're grounding down, you're setting your eyes on one point. Feel grounded, keep breathing. Take a breath in, and when you exhale, gently let go. You switch other side. Right hand goes up, the left hand grab your ankle. Again, choose to stay, or choose to go further. So if you're back at home and you're joining us as your first time doing yoga, choose to stay. Deep breath in, and with an exhalation, gently let go. Now your right foot steps above your ankle or below your knee. Palms to your heart center, and lift your hands up. Again, if you have a challenge with your balancing, you may choose to step above your ankle. Deep breath in, fill your lungs with air. Exhale, drop your hand, drop your foot. Switch other side. Palms to your heart center. Reach hands up. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And with an exhalation, palms meet. palms to your heart center and let go. Full breath in, full breath out. And still at the top of your mat. Next balancing pose before we come into ending our session. You'll take your left hand forward, your right arm will go under. So if you're a beginner or first timer doing this pose, you'll take your hips back slightly and only wrap your right foot over. If you're an advanced student, you can choose to wrap all the way and go even more lower. Keep breathing on your pose, full breath in, and when you exhale, come up and gentle, let go. Other side, right hand forward, left arm goes under, take a bind, hips go back, and you wrap your right foot over. Full breath in, when you exhale, come up, and gentle, let go, back into standing. Full breath in, full breath out.
Wow. Class dismissed.
Class dismissed. If you're joining us back at home, thank you for your time.
Well, amazing, amazing. That was something. A free class for everyone. Everyone got a free class. I was struggling to maintain, trying out and I couldn't. Possibly because I'm not in the right attire, clearly.
Sure.
But this is something someone should do at home in the right environment.
Yeah.
So what sort of environment should one create as they do yoga?
As long as your mat can fit, then you're ready for yoga.
That's it. What about the music? Because is there a specific type of music genre that you need to listen to calm yourself, to calm your nerves and everything? Or can you just go silent?
So you can choose to use music, or you can choose to find a quiet space, maybe outdoors, listen to the birds or just the sounds around you. So any space is good for yoga.
All right.
Even in offices, corporate, you can do yoga still.
Anywhere is good enough, as long as you have the mat and the space to do it. Okay.
As long as you have that space for moving your body, then you can do yoga.
And I can see you're sweating. So this small exercise is already making you sweat. Wow, okay. So that's how you lose weight, or how does weight loss come in? Because it's not jumping, going everywhere.
So with the weight loss and with the body toning, so again, you need consistency. You can't just come and start a class and expect the results instantly.
Immediately, yes.
So you need to create consistency. So as you can make your goal in your practice. With fitness, it's a journey. And in the fitness journey, you need commitment. So if you lack commitment, then you can't get to your goal towards fitness.
All right.
So you need to commit yourself, then you'll flow.
Okay. And there was this particular pose that you were doing, bending forward, and you said if someone is struggling with insomnia, they can try that.
Yeah, sure.
So you have solutions to different needs that entails a person's body.
So every asana helps your body in one way or the other.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can you choose to do one particular type of asana?
Okay, you can choose to do one type of asana, though you'll have to create a flow.
All right.
Because with yoga, you need to flow.
Okay, so you can just come and...
You can't just do one pose then...
and then expect results out of it.
You need to create like a sequence whereby you'll flow from one pose to the other and to and fro.
Okay.
Yeah.
Finally, as we come to a close on this, what do you say is the uptake of people in Kenya, Kenyans generally, in yoga? Have they accepted it, or is it still a white man thing?
At the moment, it's still... Some people are on and off.
Yeah.
But with me, I would like to invite everyone who is working on their fitness journey or want to start their fitness journey, try to do some yoga. Yoga is not the weightlifting that you'll go to the gym with some lift some weights. Yoga is only you and your body.
Okay, amazing. Yeah. Finally, as we conclude, where can people get you on your social media?
Social media page, it's at Yoga Magic on Instagram. And if you want to find us, we are at Karen opposite the waterfront. Yeah, 689 place.
Oh, okay, amazing. Thank you very much for coming on board and sharing a free lesson with us. Okay, that has been Yoga Magic Kenya. So now we're going to take a short break, but we'll be back with the last interview, some very vigorous, interesting type of dancing and singing that will be there. So join us on the other side of the break.
Kupata maisha kama sikiza tuni yako, bonyeza star 811 star 816 hash.
Maisha ni mafupi, hivyo si vyema kumaliza muda mwingi katika malumbano. Hesabu baraka zako, wathamini rafiki zako na tabasamu ili udumishe amani.
Kupata maisha, bonyeza star 811 star 816 hash. Star 811 star 816 hash.
Look, Jenny, you're really missing a point here.
What point?
The point is, they all said, whoever is my girlfriend is so lucky. And you're so...
Did you have a good rest last night? You left the office very late, right?
Not late. Hey, catch me another bit. Let's go, hurry.
Hey, wait a minute, would you?
Remember you once told me you just wanted her to be happy? Is that still what you want now? We broke up.
But you liked him so much before. Why'd you want to break up? Did he do something wrong or hurt you?
No reason.
I am seriously struggling with the dance that is happening here. Nimeshindwa na zote. I am really trying, but it's really hard. But now we have that. We have the dancers here together with, remind me the name?
Evie Asman Samson.
Samson, yes. Asman Samson to help us with this. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
All right. Is there a name for the dance crew ama wako tu under Asman Samson?
They have a name, wanaitwa Africanus Production.
Africanus.
But we work together as a team.
Okay.
Yes.
So for your music videos, working together, inahuanga only for the songs that you've sung in African, like this one? This is called Jemilia.
No, Usinipite.
Usinipite.
Yes.
Oh, this is Usinipite.
Yes.
Okay, so is it just for those that you've sung that inaka traditional ama all songs?
No, for like for this one is a traditional song, dance. So tunafanya song kwa mtindo wa Kiluya, and then I bring them on ground, tunafanya pamoja nao kwa utukufu wa Mungu.
Wow, amazing. Hiyo ndo tuliambiwa David dance for the Lord with all his might.
Yes.
Hivyo ndo mnafanya sasa.
Hivyo ndo tunafanya.
Okay.
But they are flexible, wanafanya pia wanaperform dances zingine, modern dance. They are readily available kufanya hiyo kazi.
Oh, they are dancers all types.
Yes.
You want to introduce your team?
Okay, for us, for today we have Annette.
Annette.
She's our dancer.
Okay.
We have, she's called Ali Ketlin Muhonja. Pia ana dance na sisi. Then Bandi is the head of the team.
Bandi.
Wendo
kusema gani watu wanafanya hapa. Okay.
Tukiwa pamoja yeye ndiye anatuongoza. So, you know, when I'm with them, me also he's our boss. Then we have Billy.
Bill.
Yes, he's one of us. Tunafanya pamoja. There are so many. Okay. We have a team of more than 10 here in Nairobi. Then there in Western we have more than 20 dancers.
Okay. Watu wamesema ni wa Western kwa sababu this Ingoho moves
yes,
lazima nitolewe vizuri. Okay, what goes into the production? Kama for such a song and you know, it involve all this dancing and everything. What goes into it?
You know, first of all, when we sing, tunaimba gospel, naimbia Mungu. So we have to sing the best in us. So tunafanya song ambayo tunajua kwamba touch the souls outside there. Watu wabarikiwe pamoja. Pia isikuwe ya kwamba lakini ni songs za vijana ama wazee. Like we generalize our music.
To suit everyone.
Yes.
Okay.
So tunaimba, tunakuwa na script. After recording, tunafanya video, tuna market muziki wetu na tunasonga mbele. Tukiinua jina la Bwana.
Okay, na mnasonga pamoja through all that?
Yes.
All the steps?
Naam.
Okay, mlianza pamoja?
Tulianza pamoja ni tukifanya my first song, nilikuwa nafanya Kiswahili. Ambazo the worship songs ambazo zilihitaji dancers sana. So nilikuwa nafanya worship songs, then from 2019 nikaanza kufanya songs za Kiluya. Ambazo zinahitaji traditional dances. So ndio nikawatafuta nikawapata. Then tukaanza kufanya kazi pamoja. So we've been working with them since 2020.
2020?
Yes.
Time ya corona, COVID. Okay, doing a great job.
Yes.
Why Luya? Nimekumbuka quote ingine ya Nelson. Alikuwa amesema, let me find. I can't remember. If you talk to a man in a language he can understand, then it goes to his head. But if you talk to him in a language that he knows, it goes to the heart. You know the reason, what is the reason? Do you want to get to your people? When Luyas hear this, they get the message straight home.
Yeah, like the song Usinipite, you know, there are so many people about me by the song Usinipite Mwokozi. So when I was doing when I was writing my script, nikakumbuka there are so many people outside there ambao maybe akisema Usinipite Mwokozi, hawezi anasema kimoyo moyo, but hawezi tamka itoke mbele ya watu. Si tu kule Ushago, pia hapa town na kwingine. So nikasema kwamba nitawasaidia at least wajue venye tunaimba Usinipite Mwokozi, inawa vanakila tunasema Olandero mwami wanje. So nataka pia ule ako nyumbani pia aseme Olandero, ajue Usinipite inamaanisha Olandero. Na pia wale wengine ambao wako huko nje pia wajue kwamba we are doing it for the glory of God. Isionekane kwamba lazima ukue ukue modern ndio ufanye kitu ambayo ni traditional, hapana. So we just try to balance.
Okay, tuko na ngoma nyingine tunataka kutucheze tena.
Naam.
Inaitwa
Ndibulahi.
Ndibulahi.
Yeah.
Inamaanisha nini?
The Bible says that tell the righteous that it shall be well with them. So ndibulahi inamaanisha niko salama. Salama roni, ni salama roni mwangu. So tukasema ndibulahi, bulahi ko, ndibulahi mumoyo kwanje. So it's well with my soul.
Okay.
Licha kwamba tunapitia mambo mengi, tuna vitu mingi zinatusumbua hapa na pale, kwa sababu I'm very sure kila mtu akona challenges. Tunabaki tu kusema kwamba ndibulahi. Katani ngosi shibala shosi. Yani hata nikipoteza dunia yote na ulimwengu wote na vile vyote vilivyomo, najua kwamba niko salama ndani ya roho yangu.
Wow, amazing. To usher us into the song.
Nindola mulembe no bulafu, halini mbani ndole shirima, ukalya kosi Yesu amborera, nibulahi mu moyo kwanje, nibulahi.
Okay. I am all sweating that sijadance hata kitu yoyote najaribu. These are the reason nilikosa kufika nationals kwa music festival because coordination ya such dances
ni shida.
Nilishinda nazo. Honestly, but you do an amazing job. Yeah, so what is the response? Unapatanga feedback from people who you've ministered to? I've asked this for many guests that have been here today. Do you get feedback from the people?
Yes, like when I was doing my Swahili worships, there are those who loved it. Na wakaniambia kwamba niendelee. Na something told me that charity begins at home. So venye nilianza Kiluya, nikaona imenifikisha mahali like ika open more doors than the other songs. So ikabidi nishikilia hapo from 2021, 2022, 2023. I'm still doing the gospel in a traditional way.
Okay, so
so watu wanapenda sana hiyo mtindo ya Kiluya pia.
Okay, so by saying mlango zikafunguka, do you mean opportunities to perform?
Yes.
And what not?
Yeah. Like you know, the worships nilianza, I was just performing in our church over there in Kakamega Pefa Church, but venye nilifanya Kiluya, then nikaona like nimeanza kupata opportunities kule nje. Naitwa na kuja naambiwa kwamba kuja uimbe Njimilila, kuja uimbe Usinipite, Olandeko Mwami Wanje. So like ikanifungulia milango pia hata ya kufika places ambazo sikuwa na expect.
Okay. So uko na any intention of going back kufanya worship ama you intend to kwenda tuna route kabisa?
You know, for now I'm still doing I'm just trying to balance. Like I have a worship song yenye nimerecord iko ready. I also have a Luya song yenye nimerecord na malizia. So I'm trying to balance kwa sababu you never know. Inafaa nifikia watu wote. Kama nafikia kwa in this kwa huu mtindo pia wale wa worship pia niwafikia ile kwamba nikaweze kushika umati wote nikawapeleke kwa Mungu.
Okay, so okay, nice. So una cater for all needs.
Yes.
Alright. Na nini, would you say that there should be a standard for gospel music? Yani even though inafaa kuimbwa ama this way watu wasipite mipaka when singing gospel music?
You know, nowadays most of our gospel artists wanamintua kwamba the moment unataja neno hallelujah ama Yesu kwa song inaitwa gospel. So it's all about the revelation behind the song. Like the song Usinipite, nilipata revelation kwamba kuna vitu nilikuwa napitia. So wakati nilikuwa almost to give up, nikapata revelation ya kwamba niambie Mungu asinipite na pia nikampea utukufu. Because when the Bible says that when we praise him, his glory comes down. So wakati nilikuwa namsifu na utukufu wake ukashuka ndani mwangu ukanifungulia milango. Hivyo nikakuja pia na Ndibulai, nikajipa moyo sababu lazima song inibariki mimi ndio pia na ibariki watu wengine wa kule nje. So it's all about the message, the revelation behind it, alafu pia na ile grace. Grace na favor ndio zinafungua milango zaidi.
Alright. So for you, before we release music to the people, before you write a music, do you first listen into what God is saying, ama you write it from a point of experience, ama any other way?
In most cases, huwa naandika song kama nimeenda church, after the preachings nimepata message. Nikitoka kule sasa narudi nyumbani ama job naanza kumeditate. Then napata ufunuo wa song fulani. So nakimbilia naandika lyrics, naandika rhythm, then naanza kuifanyia kazi. Unaweza pata like song nilipata 2020 ndio nakuja kurekodi sahi.
Okay.
Yes, so kwa sababu ziko there are so many. So nazipanga pole pole. Season ya song ikifika na i-release.
Everything with its season.
Yes.
Okay. Tuambie about song Naomba. That's a worship song.
Naomba. Yes, Naomba is a worship song ambayo nilikuwa like was down kabisa, nilikuwa almost giving up. Nikaona yenyewe hakuna kitu. The Bible says that kuna wakati ambapo kuna wakati wa kulia na wakati wa kucheka. To everything there is a season. Kwa sababu nilikuwa napitia hali ngumu na nikaambia Mungu ya kwamba licha ya hii hali ngumu usiniache. Naomba nifanane na wewe.
Wow.
So I just wanted to be like him. Out of everything that I was going through, nitoka hapo ndani nikiwa kama yeye. Nisiende kinyume na neno lake, nisiende kinyume na mapenzi yake. So nikamwambia kwamba naomba nifanane na wewe. Baba, naomba nifanane nawe. So kuna vitu mingi watu hupitia, but huwa nasahau kwamba Mungu ndio the order and the finish of everything.
Okay.
Wanasahau kumuita kwa sababu ukimuita anaitika na anatenda yale makusudio yake, sio makusudio ya mwanadamu. So nikamwambia kwamba naomba nifanane na wewe, uniongoze katika hali zote. Yes.
Wow, amazing.
Naam.
Kuna time in your life mushifika and then you doubted your call in music, in ministry?
Yes.
Tell us about it.
Kuna time after nimefanya nilianza, unajua huwa na record singles. Sijaifanya album, but so far nimefikisha album moja. Huwa nafanya single songs. So after nimerecord song, kuna song nilisacrifice. Nikaambia Mungu kwamba nataka nikutolee kila kitu niko nacho. Nikatoa my salary ya Januari yote nikapeleka kwa madhabahu, akaniombea. Kwa hivyo after kufanya hiyo song nikarecord, nikaona watu wameipenda. Then from nowhere nikaona vita imeanza kuinuka hasa kinyume na ile kazi ambayo Mungu alikuwa amenipa. So nikataka ni give up. That's why Mungu alinisaidia. You know, when you're faithful to God, anakufungulia milango ambayo haukuexpect katika maisha yako. Kwa hivyo wakati nilikuwa almost to give up katika maisha yangu, katika muziki, kwa sababu vita iko kila mahali. Unaenda mahali, hata umeitwa mahali kwa mkutano, haupewi chance, unaambiwa turudi kwa sababu you're just an upcoming artist, hauwezi pata chance. Na pia watu wale ambao mnaimba nao karibu wanakutafuta maneno, wanataka usiinuke kwa sababu wameona kile kitu ambacho kiko ndani mwako. So nikafikiria, Mungu akanipea ufunuo wa wimbo inasema Njimilila. There was a time wakati mama Hana katika Biblia alikuwa anaenda Shilo kufanya maombi na mtumishi Eli. Alikuwa anaenda kila siku kutafuta mtoto. Anaenda Shilo anaomba, anaenda Shilo anaomba. Kwa hivyo mimi pia nikaambia Mungu, katika haya mambo yote ambayo nimekuwa nikipitia, nitangulie. Kwa sababu ukiniacha mimi mwenyewe sitaweza. Kuna mambo mengi duniani lakini nitangulie. O mwami wanje Jimira nderanga bulamu bwanje kwiwe Nyasaye wanje umbolole, yani anitangulie na nifungulie nisonge hatua nyingine.
Wow. Na tunataka kufunga na hiyo wimbo Njimilila. Lakini kabla tufunge, tuambie kwa social media, YouTube, watu watapata wapi music yako?
Kwa social media, YouTube naitwa EV, unaandika EV for evangelist, short form. EV Asman Samson.
Okay.
Yes, so EV Asman Samson. YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, kila mahali naitwa EV Asman Samson. Then subscribe, share my music, unipromote na Mungu atakuwa mwabaraka kwa mafanzi wangu wote. Pia nawashukuru kwa sababu ile support wamenipa ndio inafanya nasonga kila siku.
Asante sana Asman for coming. We have enjoyed the dance na tunataka kumalizia nayo. Thank you very much for tuning in. This has been Good Morning Kenya. Thank you for staying with us all the way till almost 10 a.m. and we are closing it with Njimilila. My name is Stefanieta, and on behalf of the GMK team, we wish you a lovely day ahead. Njimilila for you.
Yes.